Good evening, Naman.
Hello.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, we'll wait for 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
also wanted to talk to you regarding the assignment part. Sir,
Okay.
we are not able to communicate properly to the coaching center.
Okay.
So to the institute. So my request is, sir, that the whole week we didn't have any assignment to do, but just yesterday the assignment was posted, and it was a
Okay.
long assignment,
Okay.
and probably for me, I was not able to do it or complete it.
Okay.
So yes, sir. So if you can request the institute to give us the assignment in the start of the week or something, or maybe just anything, not of the assignment per se, so that we
Uh-huh.
can keep ourselves involved in the process.
Yeah. I believe it was given yesterday or day before yesterday or something like that. I'm
Sir,
not
yesterday, sir.
yesterday. So just
Yes,
one
sir.
person is, I believe, I was told that only one person has submitted it.
Sir, it was
Aditi.
impossible to complete the assignment at such a short notice. So,
Yeah, I understand. So therefore, people are not coming. What is this?
sir, I have no idea. There's no information anywhere. But
Okay.
I can. Sir, give me a minute. I will ask on
Yeah.
individually.
So there are two things that we can do. One is postpone this whole
Yes,
thing,
sir.
or we can come start off and talk with something else. Like script writing, we can talk generally. Two things we can do, or we can postpone it for some other day.
Sir, it would be wonderful if just we can talk about films generally. I mean, just share
Yeah,
our
yeah,
share
yeah. We
sites
could
from you.
just message people there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give me a minute, sir. I will just
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Sir, I've asked them on the group. Now I've asked them individually. So they are replying now.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Aditya has come.
Yes, sir. Aditya, I think, is joining now.
Aditya, you have written it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have written all the answers.
Yeah, so we can start off with yours till the others come. We'll wait for one more minute and we'll start this. And even if the others come, we'll generally talk about cinema and writing and whatever questions you have on cinema or something.
Sir, two people have actually uh, two people are not going to attend, Tanvi and Jitu.
Okay.
Jitin.
What is his name, Aditya? I don't know his full name.
Jitin.
Jitin. Yes, sir. Jitin and Tanvi are not going to. So they have put this information in the group. Rest, I think, are reply. So.
Yeah, okay. They're yet to reply, right?
Sir,
I will not be able to switch on my video.
Sir, I
I'm
think due to the
actually.
confusion, because the group posted earlier ki there won't be any classes, and then suddenly the link came. So I guess due to the confusion, no one has actually done the assignment.
Yes, sir, that's right. Earlier, just yesterday, sir posted that there will be no class in this week, and then suddenly there was a link posted. So I think that kind of
So what will postpone this?
let this one be.
Yes, sir. They gave a message about postponement and then just sent the assignment. So we thought that it would be in the next week, and then I don't know when did the link came, but it came and it had the date of 29th.
So I'm asking both of you,
Yes,
please
sir.
stop this right here and postpone it.
Sir, I think if not about the assignment, general discussion. My this thing is that we can discuss about films in general. Aditya, you can tell sir what you want. So
Yes, sir. I don't have a problem with postponement as long as the answers would be read for afterwards.
Yeah, so what we'll do right now, since your answer, Aditya, since your answer is already there, we can start off with your
yes, sir.
answer, you know, and then once that is over, so we can talk about films and stuff like that. You know, we can talk
Okay.
about and anything that is concerning you people, you know, and all those things. You know.
Sir, and sir, you take the call, sir. Probably.
We'll,
I don't know.
Aditya will start it because we have left everything else and come here, you know. So we should not feel
Yes, sir. Yes,
upset.
sir. Yes, sir.
In any case, this is recorded, and if people want to listen to something like that, they could always do that. You know. Now I've learned the trick how to record it without getting confused. Hey, hey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Aditya will start, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you read? Can you see the screenshot?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The primary requirement of television serial narrative is the interrelation between multiple protagonists and their parallel stories. So the question was to explain why with examples. In answer, Indian television serials, also popularly known as daily soaps, are built on the foundation of running parallel with everyday life with an entertaining touch. The lives we live in are very interesting, and they are as such due to our complex relationships with other people, be it mother, aunt, siblings, friends, or lovers. There are various primal human emotions that emerge from these relationships, and the foundation of any good story is a primal desire, be it love, jealousy, ambition, survival. These emotions are relatable to every human consumer, and they elicit curiosity in viewers. people start identifying or sympathizing with characters whom they found in line with their ideologies and build a hatred for antagonists showing traits they dislike. In isolation, these characters cannot make much difference to consumer because even if the protagonist is nice, without conflict, there is no element of suspense. When these lifelike characters interact, there is always a conflict of interest, primal and natural, hence causing anticipation and curiosity regarding what might happen. Regarding what might happen next. From an artistic standpoint, the interrelationship of various characters is very important as well, as these shows are derived from real lives. Hence, people interact in real life as well. The creator wants to navigate through the complex conflicts that arise out of these relationships and how the characters manage to deal with them. For example, Saat Nibhana Satiya, Ahem was married to Gopi against his choice. Now, this created a very interesting situation that the creator explored masterfully. Ahem managing his resentment and shame of Gopi because she was illiterate, and his humanistic admiration of Gopi's innocence was brilliantly explored. A scene where Gopi was serving and some tea spilled, and Gopi started cleaning. M's friends complimented Gopi to be a good wife. Instead, M denied acknowledging Gopi as his wife and told them she is a cleaner. A very complex and emotional scene that managed to reflect embarrassment in Ahem and despair in Gopi, and give an insight about their relationship status while engaging viewers. From a commercial standpoint, the interrelationships brings in audience, as unique features can be explored in usual existing relationships we have in our lives. Gopi being illiterate and washing Ahem's laptop is one of the most iconic Indian daily soap scenes, as it brings entertainment to masses that is unexpected out of a normal relationship. Uh, Unexpected out of a normal relationship. Its implications is the anticipation of for the viewer. How will Ahem react to it? That was the anticipation for the viewer. Serials like Balika Vadhu also sheds light to social matters of child marriage through characters that audience can sympathize for, hence creating an impact at society at large as well.
Yes, this is the second one, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, the question is the primary requirement of television series narrative is the interrelationship between multiple protagonists,
Yes, sir.
characters, and their parallel stories. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
So what is the basic contention? The contention is that there are two things that you in the first paragraph. What do you talk about? That it is, yeah,
May I speak? Yes, sir.
yeah.
So,
tell me.
yes, sir. I talk about that these shows are derived. These shows are a parallel from real life. So the primal struggles and the primal emotions that are from real life are the source of conflict for these shows, and those can never stem out very well unless and until the interrelationship of various protagonists are explored.
Yeah, so the fact that these primal emotions are taken from life itself is what you primarily say in your first paragraph, which is fair enough, enough.
Yes,
So
sir.
then what is your contention, which is the second paragraph talking about? Can you
So,
give an example?
yes, sir.
Uh, so what is this example?
So from the show Saat Nibhana Satiya, I was sticking to Indian television for some reason. I did not realize I could go into foreign television as well. So I sticked with Indian soaps, and
No issue.
yes, sir. And the show Saat Nibhana Satiya, where Gopi was illiterate and Ahem was married by force, not by his will. So it created a very interesting situation where Ahem was very cruel to Gopi, but at the same time was slowly started to warmed up by Gopi's innocence. So yeah, there was a conflict in Ahem's heart and in the household as well. So that was very well explored in the show, and that was my example.
Yeah,
The scene where Ahem did not acknowledge Gopi as his wife, and that was very, very painful for Gopi. So that was also a very good scene, I felt.
yeah. So then finally you come up with a conclusion, no? Which is
Yes,
what
sir.
that it because it's audience as a because it brings in the audience. You know, you talk
Yes,
about
sir.
the
Yes, sir. It brings in the audiences, sir.
Yeah. So as far as my observation is that as far as you say that the emotion, primal emotions that is taken from the television serial is taken from the real life, which is absolutely bang on, because
Yes, sir.
somebody's love, somebody's jealousy, somebody's revengefulness and deceitfulness and stuff like that,
Yes, sir.
Now the point is that's taken from real life, absolutely right, and then therefore the relationship, the audience tries to get involved in the film. Audience is drawn to the film. Audience is also drawn into the film in television serials because unlike in real life, these emotions are played around and twisted to such an extent that it becomes unreal. I'm not sure you have, you know,
Yes, sir. The exaggeration point hasn't been mentioned. Yes, sir.
yes, and that is also one of the reasons why the audience is dropped. Audience is in and for example, this lady, right? What is this lady's name? Aham. No,
Gopi and
Gopi,
guy's name is Ahem and lady's name is Gopi.
Gopi. What sort of background she is?
She's from a lower middle class illiterate background
Absolutely. And where is she coming now?
to a very rich family, higher class
Rich,
family.
rich family. It is all we want to do. I mean, all of us want to do that. You know, all of us want to do that. We are here, and then we want to go there. And then
Yes, sir.
that's one of the reasons why. And it's a dream come true for her. Although initially there is going to be some hiccups. The
Yes,
husband is
sir.
not going to like her. You know,
Yes, sir.
and so at some point of time, we know that because they are husband and wife, at some point of time, after the 100th episode or maybe the 300th episode, I don't know what,
Yes, sir.
there is bound to be a change.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then when the change happens, it is almost wish fulfillment for Gopi.
Yes, sir.
So this wish fulfillment is what I think the serials are talking about. Serials are dealing with.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. But the question emphasized over the fact that why are these interrelationship important? Why
yeah,
how does these serve the narrative of the shows? So I try to stick to that.
yeah. So fair enough, fair enough. So if you want to deal with all other aspects of these interpersonal relationships, you know, so in there of course is we know that the husband and wife are going to unite. Ultimately, it's an Indian, as you rightly pointed out, it's an
Yes, sir.
Indian serial, तो
Yes, sir.
डाइवर्स तो होगा नहीं लाइफ
Yes,
में
sir.
ना तो अल्टीमेटली जितना भी झगड़ा करो और मारने की कोशिश करो एक दूसरे के साथ at some point of time they're going to come together, that kind of relationship, interrelationship is between them. Now
Yes, sir.
in between this interrelationship, what else is happening is also would make your answer very interesting.
Okay,
So
so
one of the reasons, one of the things what I mentioned, there could be 100 other things. One of the things is that it's a wish fulfillment.
okay,
Is
sir.
people even in the rich, you would like to stay in a place which is very palatious, very palatious, and that kind of a thing. And how does that affect the interpersonal relationship?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, of course, the question is interrelationship of multiple protagonists and stuff like that. And but if we had given these other elements, वो तड़का होता है ना तड़का,
Yes, sir. More
तो
examples from
वो
diverse relationships. Yes, sir.
yes, and the other social aspects of the relationships and stuff like that, and
Yes,
that would
sir.
have been also why is this interrelationship between multiple protagonists necessary? है multiple
Yes, sir.
protagonists, not two protagonists, multiple protagonists. Why is it necessary?
So because I think it really burns down to normal human behavior. Human is a social animal, so a general human in fact interacts with a very large world. He has his world, and each of those interactions contributes to him, and it shapes him in a certain way. So I guess just being honest to that as well, we can find that a show must have multiple protagonists having complex relationships with each other.
Yeah. Yes, Naman, you want to say something. Naman, you raised your hands. It's amazing. So also, yeah, that's right, Aditya. Absolutely right. So it talks about multiple protagonists and parallel stories. One practical reason, there are a couple of reasons for that. One of the practical reason is that it's a daily soap that is running for 1 year, 2 years, and stuff like that. So the very fact that if you have only two main protagonists in that series, like in a film has, it won't hold that much attention of the audience. That is one practical reason. You have to have multiple interests and multiple stories running around, and there because you're dealing with time in the sense that
Yes,
you're
sir.
dealing with 1 year, or dealing with 1.5 years or 3 years. It is not like 26. Earlier, there used to be a 26 episode series and a 52 episode series earlier. Now that is all gone. It's a weekly serial. It was a weekly serial. It's all gone. It's like,
Yes, sir.
uh, of course, it has returned back in OTT platforms where you can see
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
13 episodes and stuff like that. But
Yes, sir.
even in OTT platform, even in 13 episodes, there are parallel stories running around. There is the same story would be recut for a film, and it would be with all the other parallel stories been reduced, and the same story for an OTT platform or a series would be having other parallel stories, because one, you're dealing with time, a long period of time that the series is taking. Second, for that period of time, and the audience is, as you rightly pointed out, is a family audience, and that family audience is dealing with various, not just two characters, but various shades of various other characters, and therefore
Yes, sir.
they need to identify with multiple characters. And
Sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sir, may
Yeah.
I say something?
yes, Naman.
Sir, I think so. I have been witnessing all these soap operas for a long time. I mean, from घर घर की कहानी, क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी से लेकर to Pushpa Impossible today. So, including Sara Bhais and everything. I think this, in all individuality, this whole concept of multiple protagonists, if we talk about it practically, I think this whole concept is about keeping the audience engaged, because over a time when you see these characters again and again, you start losing your interest, and then suddenly they introduce a new character, and boom, you are again, very well, infatuated with the character. And then, and also a thing to observe, all these new protagonists, when they enter the serial, they're very well dressed, they're very stylized in every single bit, the attention to detail and every single thing. And over the time, when they become old, their clothes also become very, I mean, boring, and everything goes with time. With time they become boring, and then again a new character is introduced. And you can see this pattern in every single soap opera as well. I'm not talking about the ones made in 80s and 90s, but today, after the 2000 boom, this has been a pattern, I
In the
feel.
commercial era.
Absolutely, Naman, it's absolutely bang on. एक saturation point आ जाता है. There is going to be a
Yes, sir.
saturation point of कितनी बार वही लड़का लड़की, कितनी बार अहम और गोपी को देखते रहेंगे हम लोग, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
कितनी
sir.
बार वो लैपटॉप को क्लीन करती रहेंगी ना? At some point of time, the servant who is there he's quietly been there in the background probably. वो चाय लेके आता, पानी लेके आता था, उसको importance मिल जाता है ना? The new character that you talked about, Naman.
Yes, sir.
So then till the track of the servant becomes saturated, then we find something else. Then we find some other character coming in, a totally fourth character who is coming in and stuff like that. Or past
Yes,
aa jata hai and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely right. Practical point of view, to get hold of the audience, to get hold of the attention of the audience, we need to have multiple characters, and therefore it is, and these multiple characters, by most of the times, by and large, is decided by the marketing team.
Right, sir.
है ना? Marketing team बोलता है कि यार ऐसे character ला लो. Then it is up to the writers and stuff like that to figure out कि यार इसको कैसे अंदर घुसाए हम लोग, है ना?
Yes,
That
sir.
kind of a thing. And TRP का चक्कर है basically.
Yes, sir.
TRP ऊपर.
Sir, how open can we be about that? I think so. We had to go towards more from a writer's standpoint than from a marketer's standpoint. I just went in there. Ki, how does it serve the writer? How does it make the
Absolutely.
writer feel the story comes out?
You could add, because you could add
Sir,
things.
Sir, even in the writer aspect, I feel that even in the from the writer point of view, the writers are exactly told to write that like that, in that way कि इस समय इसको मरना है, इस समय इसको disappear होना है, फिर इस बार इसको घूम के फिर वापस आना है. I think that's very strategic. मतलब the writers are very clever this way कि उनको पता होता है, सब कुछ वो सोच के कर रहे हैं. मुझे ऐसा लगता है, मेरा मत गलत भी हो सकता है इस बात पे, या
नहीं, बिल्कुल. When you're submitting a screenplay, or not, there's no screenplay as such. When you're submitting it to the television channel or the OTT channel, there is a
Yes, sir.
broad outline. There are characters that are involved, and of course, we will be thinking about which character will come later on in episode 15 or episode 20 or something like that. Roughly एक अंदाजा होता है, But if
जी
you
सर
are in series and in OTT वापस आ गया, the preciseness of the script वापस आ गया OTT में. But then it's a matter in a serial kind of a situation, you can't have a precise script. So because
ओके
the
सर
57th episode or 107 episode, as you rightly pointed out, the marketing team will say, "अरे ये डाल दो, इसको मरा दो," है ना? Or the actor may not be there. No, he'll say पैसे का चक्कर होगा, and he has left the whole thing and stuff like that. We'll have to introduce
sir.
new things, and the craft of the writer would be in such a way that उसको without getting into the shock, without getting into a shocking element, you have to incorporate that into the script of the whole thing and stuff like that. Basically. But
Right,
yeah,
sir.
that's the writer who should be smart enough to incorporate it without letting the audience know that there is a issue involved and therefore we have done this. No,
Right, sir.
that is the essence of it.
That
But
is the skill.
skill. But more or less, more the characters, the better chances. The wider could be the audience. The wider could be the audience that you have. So it's
Right,
well
sir.
written, Aditya. We'll go for the
Thanks,
next one. Next one.
The popularity of Indian serials is because of the desire to peep into people's lives of the Indian families living in joint family and neighborhood communities that one seldom gets to see in today's societies. With increasing westernization, there is a vast decrease in joint families and nuclear families are on the rise. Yet, that is not the reason for popularity of Indian serials. The desire to peep into other people's lives is something that is inherent to human nature, especially women, irrespective of which kind of family one lives in. Human is a social animal, and it is a primal nature to be interested in other people's lives. Joint family dramas are more prevalent due to two reasons that come to my mind. Firstly, our culture has a huge role to play with it. We are conditioned to believe that's how a family looks like. Our parents lived like that, and even some of us do. It creates a familiarity bias towards such dramas. Secondly, and more importantly, large joint families struggle a lot with individuality, and collectivism creates massive power dynamic differences and a lot of conflict of interest among the family members, causing clashes and drama, which, when viewed by an outsider, is always entertaining to humans. Quite obvious when people gather around accidents and people fighting, they enjoy a sadistic pleasure in others' misery. Viewers start resonating with certain characters and rooting for them in a daily soap. For example, some may root for Gopi in Saat Nibhana Satya, while some may root for Rashi. Kokila, who was in charge of the house and mother of Ahem, who was cruel towards Gopi. She navigated through this conflict, which was entertaining for viewers as well. Kokila, just to mention, Kokila was kind towards Gopi and also kind towards her son, but her son was cruel towards Gopi. So that was one thing that she had to somehow manage because she was the head of the house. Uh, Neighborhood societies can be quite entertaining as uh, as as closely knit societies often act as a large family. For example, Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, diversity of characters bringing something to the table. They interest viewers by their interactions. Each character has their own quirks. Also bring something from their appearance. For example, Hatibai being obese, which creates a lot of possible material to play with.
Absolutely. The question is desire to peep into the lives. The popularity is because the desire to peep into the lives of Indian families living in joint system and neighborhood communities that one seldom gets to see. Absolutely right. I think you're spot on in you figured out you totally in the first sentence itself. You have said that due to westernization, joint families are decreasing and nuclear families on the rise, and this is precisely the reason why people long for joint families. It
No,
gives you
no, sir. But in the very next line, I've disagreed with this.
uh,
I don't agree that this is the popularity for the reason because
Acha.
because even people in joint families enjoy these kind of serials, and people in nuclear families as well enjoy these kind of serials. It's purely independent to this. It's just human nature to be interested in
The lives,
joint family conflict.
that's what you feel. Yeah. So it's a sociology of medium, communication medium, or sociology of film points out to the fact that cinema and the mass media is almost a medium of wish fulfillment, and not in the sense, not in the sense of a real sense, but is a notional wish fulfillment, and
Yes,
that's a
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In that sense, therefore the example that I gave, that a poor wants to live in a very palatial house, and it's a wish fulfillment of sort for some of the viewers who are there watching the television serial or cinema.
Yes,
And
sir.
that,
Most of the serials are based on this trope of wish fulfillment. Yes, sir.
yeah, and that would apply here also. Since even in villages, for example, I'm from a village where people, 20, 30 people used to live in a house at one point of time. Now there are only three of them. You know? So
Yes, sir.
even in a village sort of a situation, and now even that, I mean, that's also a wish fulfillment, and in the sense that we see, for example, Tarak Mehta. It's a large family, large joint
Yes,
family,
sir.
not a family as such, but it's a new family kind of a thing, extended family.
Yes, sir.
We would like to take in. It's a wish fulfillment of sorts to be living in a joint family with brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and that sociology says that. But you're right when you say there's something emotional about it. There's emotional, something very inherent to human nature, you know, where
Yes, sir.
you are voyeuristic in nature, basically. That's what you're suggesting.
Yes, sir.
You're voyeuristic when somebody is shouting at the wife for no reasons at all. No, you would want to see what's the reaction
So
of the
conflict of interest is always entertaining, and joint families have a lot of conflict of interest. So that is one of the very
yeah,
basic reasons that make it entertaining.
absolutely, because there are different people who have different characteristics, and there's bound to be conflicts, and then when there's bound to be, as you said, this
Yes,
Kokila Ben. Kokila Ben is like, she has to deal with the son and the daughter-in-law.
yes, sir.
She may not be she may not be liking how the son is treating the daughter-in-law, but
Yes, sir.
he's a son. He's a son. He has to deal with that, and that kind of a conflict would be interesting for some audience. So
Yes, sir.
in that sense, you are absolutely right, and I'm glad that you brought in Tarak Mehta, because in today's world, in cities and stuff like that, the housing societies are becoming large extended family, which are replacing kind of a
Joint
family
families, yes, sir.
that the inmates have probably used to brought up in the village and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So correct. So there are a large, but you are absolutely right in the sense that the emotions is what the people are interested in, and large joint families have a lot of emotions, scope of emotions that we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
But I think you should also try and figure out and find out for yourself कि यार ये wish fulfillment क्या चक्कर है उसके साथ
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah,
I could see this. Yes, sir.
yeah,
People try to project their lives into the television and want the character to succeed as well.
yes,
So
yes,
that it feels like accomplishing for themselves. Yes, sir.
absolutely. वो थोड़ा इधर उधर का बातें अगर ये ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में डालते थोड़ा सा डेप्थ आ जाता है ना.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you have 350 words, you had some still more time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I know you didn't have active time because
Yes,
the
sir.
questions were given very late. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, but that's okay, na?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
sir, since we are talking about soap operas today, a lot about them, and I feel that आपने सब कुछ विटनेस किया है सर काफी पहले से, द काइंड ऑफ सीरियल्स बीइंग मेड इन द 80s 90s से लेकर 2000s में जो एक ट्रेंड शुरू हुआ, या जिन सीरियल्स की अभी बात कर रहे थे, तारक मेहता ऑब्वियसली इज एन एक्सेप्शन, इट्स तब भी काफी अच्छा है. तो जो स्टैंडर्ड जो सर कंटेंट का, मतलब उस समय इवन द काइंड ऑफ ह्यूमर वी हैड, ये जो है जिंदगी या फिल्मी चक्कर, और अच्छे सीरियल्स में आपका बुनियाद वगैरह था, हम लोग था, और मालगुडी डेज था एक, तो उस समय से और एक आपका कथा सागर आता था, उसमें जो सबसे अच्छे एंटोन चेकव, गाय डे मोपासा और सबसे सर्वश्रेष्ठ कहानियों को लेके निकोलाई गोगोल वगैरह लेके बनाया गया था, से लेकर अब जो एक ट्रेंड चेंज हो गया है कंप्लीटली, और जो एक कंटेंट में एक जो स्टैंडर्ड जो है काफी गिर गया है, बट एट द सेम टाइम समवेयर वी हैव एक्सेप्टेड दिस फैक्ट. एंड मैंने कई बार ये ऑब्जर्व भी किया कि कुछ लोग जैसे कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने सब कुछ विटनेस भी किया है, बट इवन देन दे आर विलिंग टू वॉच दीज सीरियल्स एंड दे स्टिक टू इट. Even they have witnessed the parallel cinema, the good films in the 80s, the good serials, but आज उन्होंने बिल्कुल मजे से accept कर लिया है, and they just want to watch it. They're just stuck to the screen. मतलब वो घंटे अगर 2-3 घंटे चलाए तो भी चलेगा. तो इसके बारे में क्या आपकी राय है, एंड हाउ वी हैव कम टू दिस पॉइंट टू एक्सेप्ट ऑल दीज थिंग्स? ये ज्यादा कंटेंट इतना ज्यादा हो गया है कि वी आर ओके, मतलब हम ठीक हो चुके हैं, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हम सब कुछ देख सकते हैं,
Absolutely. You see, when
कुछ
the
भी देख सकते
serials came, Bunyad was the first daily soap that
हैं।
came in.
यस सर, राइट
है
सर।
ना, डेली सोप, मतलब उसको पहले क्या होता था, सैटरडे सैटरडे को आता था,
जी सर।
मतलब उस तरह की एक वीकली सोप आता था। देन दे स्टार्टेड, फर्स्ट इट बिगन विद सैटरडे संडे ना, एवरी
राइट सर।
सैटरडे संडे देयर यूज्ड टू बी अ सीरियल, एंड देन लेटर ऑन मंडे ट्यूसडे को आने लगा, मंडे एक सीरियल, ट्यूसडे एक सीरियल, है ना, दैट
राइट सर।
जो अगर एक मंडे को होता है, नेक्स्ट मंडे को वैसे ही गेट रिपीटेड, है ना, उतना गैप रहता था एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट। So when this happens, what happens? You don't have so the number of episodes were like the standard 13 episodes, है ना?
यस सर।
Your commission 13 episodes. अगर hit हो गया तो मतलब लोग अच्छा लगे तो 26 episodes, sponsors वगैरह मिला उधर 26 episodes होते, ज्यादा से ज्यादा और ज्यादा hit हो गया 52 episodes होता था, and slowly they started making 152 to 104 हो गया and stuff like that. Now,
ओके सर।
now just imagine 104 episodes at an episode a week. तो कितना कितना टाइम चल जाता. So they figured out a need to do it on a daily basis for 104. No, so how many 104 episodes on a weekly basis you would want to screen? वो problem हो जाता है ना, remembrance का
राइट सर।
problem हो जाता है, unless as you rightly pointed out, one of you rightly pointed out कि daily उनको inject करो वही character, है ना, ऋषि को ये करो डेली, तो आज भी दिखेगा उसको, कल भी दिखेगा उसको, टिल द पॉइंट वी गेट बोर्ड, देन ऋषि के बदले में फिशी आएगा, है ना, फॉर
राइट
सम
सर।
पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, और फिशी को
यस
बोर
सर।
होने के बाद वापस ऋषि आएगा, वो दैट काइंड ऑफ अ सिचुएशन, यू नो. So time, as I told you earlier, time became a factor. So when it was 13 episodes, character were precise. It is just it was an extension of a feature film, for example, है ना, 30 मिनट की,
राइट सर।
30 मिनट्स का भी नहीं होता था, 30 मिनट्स में 7 मिनट एडवर्टाइजमेंट के लिए होता था, 23 मिनट्स होता था, है ना, इन 30 मिनट स्लॉट 23 मिनट्स का एपिसोड होता था, 23-24 टाइप्स, है ना, 24 मिनट इंटू 13 करो, इतना, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लिटिल बिट एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द फीचर फिल्म, है ना, ऐसा हो गया था. सो द स्कोप फॉर द राइटर, द स्कोप फॉर द फिल्म मेकर, द सीरियल मेकर was precise, है ना, एक थोड़ा सा प्रिसिजन होता था when compared to the daily soaps we are seeing it now, but थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंशन वो खींचते थे when we come when it is compared to the feature film. ना, आपने स्टार इसको भी कर, कथा सागर भी जिक्र किया, तो कथा सागर वो डिफरेंट ऑन.
बहुत, यस सर, वो तो अलग अलग कहानियों को लेके, बट ये जो, हाँ, ये जो है जिंदगी वगैरह और ये सब थे, और
हाँ
सुजाता मेहता का कोई सीरियल आता था, काफी सारे, बट बहुत स्टैंडर्ड बहुत हाई था सर, मतलब समझने में कई बार समय लगता था, और आई रिमेम्बर, मैंने ये जो है जिंदगी देखा, उसके ह्यूमर का जो स्टैंडर्ड है, अगर हम आज के समय में सिटकॉम्स की भी बात करें या अलग चीजों की भी बात करें जो टीवी पे आते हैं, द काइंड ऑफ ह्यूमर दे हैड, सतीश शाह एंडेड अप प्लेइंग मोर देन आई थिंक 100 कैरेक्टर्स इन दैट सीरीज.
yeah
That
yeah
was
yeah
something.
yeah so
And yes
yeah
sir.
yeah so what I'm saying is वो उसको कैसे कितना सस्टेन करेंगे आप, है ना,
Yes
सतीश
sir.
सतीश शाह भी कितना रोल्स प्ले करेगा, ये जो जिंदगी, फॉर एग्जांपल, how long will the serial sustain? So
Right sir.
at some point of time, when the popularity of serial increased and the
Hmm.
need for the serials increased on a daily basis,
Yes sir.
quantity became more important than the quality, है ना. तो
Right sir. Okay sir.
क्वांटिटी, है ना,
Okay
क्वांटिटी
sir.
बिकम, तो क्वांटिटी कैसे करेंगे? अब सास बहू को लड़ाते रहो आप, है ना,
Right sir.
डायलॉग बोलते रहो, 4 एपिसोड 5 एपिसोड. I have heard directors, I've known of directors, my colleagues, for example, used to get paid for 500 rupees one sequence, है ना.
Okay. Okay sir.
एक सीक्वेंस बनाने में 500 रुपीज है, एंड उसको आगे पीछे पता नहीं है क्या नहीं है. यू गो टू द सेट, है ना, एंड यू बी गिवन अ स्क्रिप्ट, है ना, आज आपको 10 सीन कराना है ना, 10 सीन मतलब 5,000 रुपए हो गया उसका. वो जो भी है वो करता रहेगा, वो डायलॉग बाकी करते रहेंगे, एंड all the actors are based from theater, they know how to dialogue, you know, dialogue
Indian
बोलना.
daily soap is, sir, very commercialized, very
Yeah.
commercialized.
Yeah, I think it has now been very commercialized from the
It
2000s, I think.
But
Start of
somehow
2000s.
it has found a formula that works with a very huge mass Indian audience, and
Absolutely,
hence it keeps on going.
absolutely.
Sir, another thing, other than the Formula Ones, I have seen this, a lot of historics being made. बहुत ज्यादा historics बनते हैं, और सर मजे की बात, और ये अच्छी बात नहीं है बिल्कुल। अभी रिसेंट भी कुछ हिस्टोरिक्स बने हैं, ये क्या करेंगे सर, हिस्टोरिक्स के अंदर इस फॉर्मूले को लेके आएंगे। मतलब नाउ दे आर ट्राइंग टू, कोई बहुत बड़ी हस्ती है हमारे इतिहास से है, आप उसके अंदर सोप ओपरा वाला फॉर्मूला डाल के एक ही पार्ट को या किसी बहस को सास बहू के बीच, मान लीजिए किसी हिस्ट्री वाले सीरियल में है आर्ग्यूमेंट, उसको आप एक एक हफ्ता चलाओगे, एंड दैट इज आई फील वेरी डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल फॉर दीज कैरेक्टर्स फ्रॉम द हिस्ट्री।
You cannot try to find that in these Indian daily soap operas. They are
बट एनी
purely
हाउ,
commercial.
जो आज की जनरेशन है या आज के कोई भी लोग बैठ के देख रहे हैं एंड दे आर बिलीविंग इन इट सो मच, दिस इज काइंड ऑफ, मतलब एक तरह से बुरी बात है कि आप उनको,
हाँ, it is true. It is true. Unethical है, but इसका कोई वो नहीं
आप
है कि because
इतिहास
they
से आप वो
purely
कर रहे हो,
money making है.
वो आप इतिहास से वो कर रहे हो।
या तो वो इन टर्म्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री, या ही इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट, इतिहास को डिस्टॉर्ट कर रहे हैं, नॉट डिस्टॉर्ट, इतिहास को मतलब टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड कर रहे हैं ना।
बिल्कुल
तो
सर।
बट एज ही राइटली आदित्य राइटली पॉइंटेड आउट, इट्स इकोनॉमिक्स। तो ऐसा नहीं
हाँ
करेगा,
सर।
ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो स्पॉन्सर्स नहीं आएंगे, अपना रिकवरी नहीं होएगा, एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, यू हैव टू, why not, because people are, as you rightly pointed out earlier, वो जो पहले जो ये जो है जिंदगी देखते हैं, now they are used to this, that means एक primordial instincts को पकड़ रहे हैं ना ये सब, हिस्टोरिकल सीरियल हो या ना हो, एक primordial, what is this primordial instinct जो आदित्य ने लिखा है, इमोशंस, है ना,
Yes sir.
रियल लाइफ का इमोशंस को पकड़ के वो खींच रहे हैं इधर उधर, है ना। So that is, therefore it has its utility in that sense, है ना।
Yes sir.
It's not, I'm not saying it has a great social utility, but कुछ तो होगा ना, वो आदमी काम करके आएगा, है ना, और सीरियल
Right, sir.
देखेगा, and then things to that, तो एक तो कुछ तो, the fact that it's running and it's in circulation points out to the fact that it has its utility, है ना।
Mass
So, but
consumer, yes sir, mass consumer on a daily basis आर्ट को अप्रिशिएट करने के लिए तो टेलीविजन खोलेगा ही नहीं ना। प्रॉब्लम वही आ जाती है कि फिर
absolutely,
as he said कि as Naman said कि some of these jokes were hard for him to understand, so they're not looking for that at that point when their brain is tired from the days of work. They just want something they can smoothly go with the flow with and just have their dinner maybe.
Yeah, this is the
So
flaw of Indian market. The audience can take anything. You give them anything, and more cheap it is, more it works.
actually,
we can go
Yeah,
rant
that is
about
the
it or we can
problem.
find our own audience.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
finding.
it is a format of the daily soap itself. If you look at the daily soaps of the United States of America, sitcoms
Yes.
जो होते हैं, it's
Yes.
almost the same. और थोड़ा सा finesse है उसमें, in terms of
Yes, sir.
acting, in terms of
Yes, sir,
technique
because
and
it's
stuff like that.
weekly, it has more weekly nature, so it is better, has qualitatively better, a little better. Yes, sir.
No, even though they have this daily kind of a thing also, apart from the weekly.
Okay.
For example, if you see the Friends, you know,
All those were weekly sitcoms, I think. They have a very
no,
limited amount of episodes in comparison.
Yeah, Friends was also weekly, I guess.
it's a
Yeah,
weekly thing.
right.
So there was this extremely good serial called X-Files. It was a weekly kind of a thing,
Which serial, sir?
X-Files.
X-Files. Yes, sir.
X-Files.
Yes, sir.
It was a
X-Files.
weekly. It was shot almost like films and stuff like that.
FX.
So
So
yeah,
even today, a series like Fargo, आपको पता ही होगा Fargo के बारे में, कोएन ब्रदर्स, तो उनका जो लेटेस्ट सीजन 5 आया, वो भी वो एक दो हफ्ते में एक बार निकाल रहे थे एक एक एपिसोड, तो द काइंड ऑफ एक्साइटमेंट वाज बिल्डिंग अप फॉर दैट। वो
excellent. Now
अभी भी
with the
काम कर रहे हैं।
with the OTT, that whole thing is coming back. No, आपको 7 एपिसोड करना है, आपको 13 एपिसोड करना है, आपको 8 एपिसोड करना है, and therefore the preciseness of the script, of the details of the script also is coming back again in the OTT,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Because OTT consumption has been increasing heavily, and like I've seen that in homes as well, from parents and everyone, elders in our houses as well are now slowly consuming more and more of the web series on the OTT because of the better quality or nature of the.
Yeah, you just figure out the nature of the medium, ना, television versus OTT. Television में क्या है, 365 days है, time factor है, 365 days. अब linearly देख रहे हैं, है ना? OTT
It's very
platform
hard to create a quality piece of content in a day itself.
OTT
20 minutes.
OTT पे 365 episodes का मतलब ही नहीं है, because you're
Yes,
not
sir.
going to see 365 days a week. You're going to see, आपको एक संडे को देखेंगे जो भी है, binge watching
Yes, sir.
करेंगे तो भी है, 365 तो नहीं करेंगे, उसका मतलब
Yes,
ही
sir.
नहीं है. So you have to reduce the number of episodes. 13 करना है या 14 करना है, 12 करना है. Even Throne of क्या है वो, Throne of
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones वो भी limited रहता है ना. So I think with the
makes sense.
OTT, the preciseness of the whole thing has come back again. The
Yes,
detailing
sir.
of it. Detailing
sir.
is trying to come back, which was there in the earlier Malgudi days,
80s
for
90s.
example.
Yes,
Malgudi
sir.
days ने
Right,
आपने
sir.
बताया, उसका
Right, sir.
precision है. Malgudi days would have been very good in the OTT platform. आज के
Right,
जमाने
sir.
में ना, वो
Yes,
एकदम precise है. वो सब this is a very very good example that you have given. एक circle हो गया अभी है ना.
Yes, sir.
इसका
पूरा सर्कल हो गया.
365 days का कोई मतलब ही नहीं है टेलीविजन में, because you don't have to watch it linearly, है ना. So
Right,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
the first episode you can watch 2 years later, है ना, or the last episode you can watch now, है ना, that kind of a thing, that kind of a situation we have. But it's a very interesting discussion that we have been having, because change होते जा रहा है अपना, है ना.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead, next one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Write a story for feature film based on anyone. I chose rivalry was my topic. Rishi and Mishri held their breath as the teacher announces who has topped the class. It was Mishri again, leading narrowly by 3 marks. Pre-boards of class 12th was conquered by Mishri, and she gave a smug smile at Rishi as she received her results. Apparently, Rishi fell short at literature. Rishi congratulates Mishri with a sour taste and promises to beat her in the boards. Mishri accepts the challenge, and there is an ugly sporting spirit, not the most friendly one. The results are out. Rishi excelled at literature. He worked his weakness, but Mishri beats her to the punch by 2 marks. Rishi couldn't handle chemistry this time around. Prize ceremony is around the corner, and Mishri is honored for securing the first rank not only in the school but in the district as well. Rishi is nowhere to be found. As Rishi's name is called for honoring him, he's seen crying in the bathroom. 10 years later, we see Mishri juggling through groceries as she waits for her kid's bus to arrive back from school. Her hands are full, yet she manages to hug her little boy as he comes back from the first day of school with a runny nose. Mishri takes care of it with a sari. Rishi, on the other hand, found success in entrepreneurial pursuits. His brand focus has found groundbreaking application in various fields like arts, technology. It uses AI to do the menial jobs and is swiftly replacing mass jobs. We see Rishi in the courtroom for ethics regarding usage of AI on a large scale. Now we see Mishri's house, small but comfy. Mishri cooks dinner as her son works her homework. He asks Mishri for help, and Mishri helps him out as she cooks the meal. Court presents an article written by Rishi's AI, which is very similar to an article written by OrthoCorp, which baffles Rishi as it should not be the case. He asks the court for a couple of days' time to get to the bottom of it. Court warns him strictly to find a source how that AI generated it. Otherwise, he will be fined heavily and his AI will be banned. Rishi back at home. His mother cooked a nice meal for him, but Rishi was drunk out of his mind. He couldn't handle the stress this lawsuit was causing. Her mother tried to comfort him. His mother tried to comfort him, but he shouts on her and behaves poorly. She leaves. Next day, Rishi goes to the lake as he had a meeting with an ethical hacker called Surya to solve his problem. As he sits on the bench, Mishri suddenly sits next to him. The sun is getting down. Suddenly, Rishi notices her. Mishri, hey, wow, what are you doing here? Oh, Rishi, is that you? Time really flies. Wow, you have gotten fatter. No time off work. Yeah, I read. You found focus, right? Brilliant innovation. Yeah, thanks. What have you been up to? Oh, I got married. I also have a 3-year-old son. Oh my God, congratulations. I meant, what do you do though professionally? Oh, I am a housemaker. A little work here and there to make some money sometimes. I don't know what to say, Rishi said. Let me ease you. Your question is why? And the answer is my father got ill. I couldn't continue with my studies and I had to get married. Not really. I am very happy. My husband is great. Here, Mishri shows a picture of her kid. Wow, he's so cute. I know, right? His name is Surya. Anyways, how are you though, really? Are you happy? Asked Mishri. Rishi falls into a spell of thought about her son's name being Surya, later into an introspection if he is happy. I'm actually very stressed right now due to the lawsuit. Oh yeah, I heard. Oh yeah, I heard. I think your company works ethically. That orthocorp article was published before yours, but your AI wrote that article earlier. Orthocorp used some blockers to hold your article from release, copied it, and released before yours. Mishri, wait, how do you know about all this? Rishi asked. That's none of your concern. I think you have always failed at managing at different subjects from the days of school. Don't do that with your life. Live a little, be happy, said Mishri.
Yeah. So you're supposed to write a story uh,
Rivalry.
for a feature film, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's the definition of a feature film? That it should be how long? Roughly seven.
90 minutes to 2 hours
Yeah.
to
So if you're taking foreign films or foreign standards, anywhere from 70, technically you get into feature films. So 70,
yes, sir.
80, 90 and stuff like that.
Sir.
Now, the story that you have given, rivalry, I think is very interesting in the sense that in the end it is hinted that, what is the hint in the end?
So first of all, that Mishri was happy after all, and Rishi was still struggling to be happy. And secondly, Mishri, even though she was a homemaker, she was also the ethical hacker that actually helped him.
Yeah.
She was Surya, the hacker, named by her son.
Did it, now, did it help him? It says that I think your company works ethically. That Orthocorp article was published before yours, na? But your AI wrote that article earlier.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what
sir.
happened? There's a little bit of confusion.
Yes, yes, sir. I will clear it up. So basically, Rishi met an ethical hacker who was obviously anonymous. I should have given that he was anonymous. He didn't knew him. So the name was Surya, and he was there to meet the ethical hacker by the lake. So Mishri was that ethical hacker who was willing to help her, and she found this thing that Orthocorp had actually did some trickery, did some deceit to copy AI, copy Rishi's AI, and then blame him after it. So yeah, she had this information and she just wanted to give it to Rishi, and this was just the way. And Surya was her child's name, so she went by her child's name.
Yeah, that is hinted, and that is why uh, ethical hacker meeting, here, Surya,
Yes, next
So
day
in
ethical.
this meeting, yeah. So some of these things would have been in language wise would have been clear. Now I get what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
So in that ethical hacker meeting, he is supposed to meet one with the ethical hacker, and the ethical hacker supposed to be happened to be this lady.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
And then the lady has always helped him, and here too she has in a sense she has beaten him
To the punch. Yes, sir.
to the punch, and that is the kind of थोड़ा सा languaging का issue हो सकता है इधर उधर का. I think we
Yes,
should
sir.
I think make it clear, otherwise
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा सा confusion हो जाता है. I know you didn't have time for writing it properly and probably relooking it, in terms of redrafting it and stuff like that. But I get
Yes,
I get what you're trying to say.
Yes,
That
sir.
is that's good. वो languaging अगर ठीक होता ये एक अच्छा this is a very good,
Yes, sir.
आपको जो intention जो है वो
Yes, sir.
intention language में what I'm trying to say is
थोड़ा
आपका
सा
जो
miss. Yes, sir.
वो नहीं हो पाया language में.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
तो
Yes, sir.
एक दो बार आप देखेंगे आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या issue है, and then you figure it out. So
Yes, sir.
always
Yes,
when you
sir.
write it, of course, now you didn't have time to look at it and
Yeah,
stuff
sir,
like that.
I did revise it and it somehow worked for me, but yeah, it could be because it is
Yeah,
in my
now
head, it is
the
clear.
thing,
Yes, sir.
there are two things you could do, है ना. One, आपका एक दोस्त को पढ़ा सकता है, आपका एक भाई को पढ़ा सकते हैं, आपका फादर को पढ़ा सकते हैं.
Yes, sir.
एक डिफरेंट व्यू पॉइंट मिलेगा, आपको पता चलेगा दिस इज नॉट कम्युनिकेटिंग, है ना.
Yes,
जिससे
sir.
आपने मुझे पढ़ाया, मैंने I said something that these things are not communicating. Then you can work on
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
You could do that with your friends. You could do that with your brother, your sister or whoever. And they will believe me. They don't know cinema. They'll tell you on the face, "अरे ये क्या? This is not working." So then you know if this is not working, तो थोड़ा सा language का issue हो सकता है. Then you can do that. That.
Yes, sir. But we don't have that facility in the exam, so that is why I had to stick with it.
So
Yes, sir.
no issue. But what I'm saying is forget exam right now, है ना? Forget
Yes,
exam
sir.
right now.
Okay,
And
sir. Yes,
but
sir.
this is the riyaz that you do.
Ye-
Riyaz, you know riyaz?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
संगीतकार होना रियाज करते हैं ना?
Yes, sir.
रियाज पहलवान जो एक्सरसाइज करते हैं अपना वो रिहर्सल्स करते हैं ना? This is the
Yes,
riyaz
sir.
you have to do on your own. And if you do this riyaz, examination में फटाफट आपको एकदम थोड़ा सा easy हो
More
जाएगा.
clarity. Yes, sir.
Clarity आ जाएगा. Second, first thing you could do is to ask your near and dear ones to figure out a reaction. Not to take those reaction very personally, but just as a matter of fact, mirror, The second thing you can do is just, if you have the time, luxury of time, you could just close it for 2 days and not read for 2 days and open it back on the third day. I know you don't have time for all these things in examination and stuff like that, but that is a practice that we all do. है ना? 2 दिन चुप बंद करके रखो, थर्ड दिन थोड़ा सा ऑब्जेक्टिविटी आ जाएगा, है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I actually, yes, sir. Again, I have created some screenplays and I have worked with that, and I do realize. Yes, sir.
So that's it's important that
Yes, sir.
sometimes
Looking
you
at
think,
work from a distance is
yeah,
important. Yes, sir.
the advantage is that sometimes you think that ये सही है ना? You are communicated well enough,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
it
sir.
might not be so. It might not be so.
Yes.
There's
Yes,
nothing
sir.
like that. That is
Yes,
the first thing. The second observation is that this might not be a feature film story. This might not be a feature film story. है मेरे को वो एक short film के याद आता है ना? इसमें if you had, for example, if you had shown for example, दो स्कोप है इधर, है ना? इधर ऋषि और ऋषि का चाइल्डहुड में एक पूरा एक साल बीत जाता है या 6 months बीत जाता है.
it is incredibly hard for me to write in 500 words for a 90-minute feature and scenes appropriately fulfilling that. I would rather dive into some scenes in detail instead of a lot of scenes in lesser
नहीं, क्या
detail. I
बोलता?
felt.
आदित्य 100 words में लिखते हैं लोग. वो लिखना
So
जरूरी
it
होता
could be a
है.
log line. Yes, sir. That is the point. It could be a
हाँ.
log line, but I just went with a little bit more detail than that. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so synopsis में, when you write a synopsis, you have to be ready in your pocket. एक pocket में log line होगा, दूसरा pocket में एक paragraph का synopsis होगा, and explaining the whole film. एक दूसरा pocket में आपका एक page का synopsis होगा, तीसरा pocket में आपका 2 पेज का synopsis होगा, है ना? तो whoever asked, है ना, आप मेरे को एक पैराग्राफ में बता दो, है ना? तो आपका पास ये पॉकेट से लिया, आपने दे दिया, है ना? So that is a practice that you have to do. Any writer or any filmmaker has to do. The joke, I don't know if I've told you guys, Hollywood में writers लोग producer के साथ जाते हैं, they meet them in the ground floor of their office and बोलता है कि मेरे पास story है, चलो मेरे साथ लिफ्ट में आ जा, 3rd floor तक जाना है, तेरा फीचर फिल्म खत्म होना है, नरेशन खत्म होना है ना?
Yes, sir.
तो लिफ्ट में जाता है and then he has to say that in 1 or 2 lines, and by the time the 3rd floor comes, and then the guy says, okay, come and meet me tomorrow with a longer synopsis, है ना? और he says, मेरे को पता है इससे कुछ नहीं होगा, तो मत आ जा, and that kind of a thing. So you have to have all sort of tools with you, ना? So you try figuring out. It's not easy. थोड़ा detailing miss करके you can write a paragraph, you can write a 500-word synopsis, you can write a 1000-word synopsis and stuff like that. So that's the
So because
practice.
yes, sir, because I wrote more like that because when he was in the court, Rishi was in the court. It was basically a courtroom drama as well in there.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of passage of time being spent there, and even in Mishri's life, I had a lot of. We could dive into a lot of details about her husband and her child and how even in the lesser life she has, in contrast to the potential she was in the school days, she's still finding a lot of fulfillment in that life. So now I can mention it like this. I can mention it, okay, she's finding a lot of fulfillment and she has a husband, but I cannot write the scenes then in 500 words. I don't think so. It is borderline even possible. But if I write the scenes, I cannot write that.
So what is your question? The question here is story report.
Yes, sir.
Story. In the story we could have descriptions and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
If this were a feature film screenplay writing, all the descriptions and all would have gone, है ना? Screenplay में descriptions तो होगा नहीं. Like they can't be sentences like he was very happy, है ना?
Yes, sir.
That could be there in a story. So happiness मतलब visually कैसे दिखेगा? He laughed, ha ha ha, something like that. Crudely I'm saying, or he smiled. है ना? That suggests that he might be happy, है ना? He gleefully smiled.
So, but even in screenplays, isn't that there? Because to guide actors as well in some instances of what director is intending to do with that
right.
scene.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in paragraph here when he's laughing, it's a smiled laugh or something like that, or he's angry or something like that. You know?
Yes.
So these kinds of these are visual clues. So in the screenplay, you have only audio visual clues.
Okay, sir.
Even the art of thinking in an audiovisual world is a practice. The first year, when you come back, if you come into the institute, the first year it is all something called an actuality report, that you are taken to a place where you have seen the observation and you have to come back and write not a story but in audiovisual world, and that has to have a structure. You know?
Okay, sir.
So that screenplay is audiovisual writing, that everything is happening in the present. प्रेजेंट
Okay,
टेंस में
sir.
हो रहा है, प्रेजेंट टेंस में हो रहा है, स्टोरी में पास्ट भी हो सकता है ना, स्टोरी में कुछ भी हो सकता है ना. So for example, in a story it is right, it was mystery again leading narrowly by 3 marks ना, एक लाइन में इसका स्टोरी खत्म हो गया. Now if I were to ask you to write a screenplay of this particular line, है ना, in terms of audio visual communication, वो थोड़ा सा सोचना पड़ेगा, है ना.
The mystery sheet had 3 more scores
Something like that. Something
as they compared side by side.
Yeah, something. That is one way of doing it. There are many ways of doing it that you can think about it.
Yes,
So,
sir.
ठीक है. At some point of time, you're gone into great dialogues here, है ना. तो मेरे ख्याल से that was for this question it was not necessary, है ना. आपने पूरा scene लिखा इधर, है ना, which is good.
Yes, sir.
Which is good.
So it was a climax. I just felt I really wanted to dive into it. Yes, sir. But yes, sir. So yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, but your dialogue writing is good, है ना. I can understand that is not the question basically, ना. Clear? Yeah. Therefore, I'm getting a feeling that this is not a feature film, है ना. जो बीच का पोर्शन आपने रिप्रेजेंट ही नहीं हुआ आपका राइट अप में, है ना. So this is what I'm trying to. Horses for courses, है ना. तो वो उसमें स्टोरी लिखा है, बोला है स्टोरी आप लिख दो, डिटेलिंग कम कर दो. उसमें अगर वो बोलता है कि डिटेल कर दो, एक सीक्वेंस लिख दो, तो लिख दो आप एक सीक्वेंस. It's all worked out in your head, है ना. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubts or
Sir.
something? Yeah.
सर जस्ट ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा टॉपिक से मतलब रिलेटेड है, पर एग्जैक्टली टॉपिक से रिलेटेड नहीं है जिसके ऊपर बात चल रही है. सर तो आप जैसे अभी आदित्य भी कह रहा था कि कई बार लिखा रहता है कि एक्टर को कैसे परफॉर्म करना, डायरेक्टर क्यूज देता है कि आपको ऐसे हंसना है, उस समय एक्सप्रेशन ये होना चाहिए. तो हॉलीवुड के बारे में ऐसा कई बार कहा गया है कि देयर आर सेवरल एक्टर्स. हेलो, am I audible?
Hello, Naman.
हाँ.
Hello. Have you also written these answers?
No.
Which answers?
नहीं.
These.
No, I have not
Okay.
written.
Okay. Then
So,
we may continue.
हाँ, तो क्वेश्चन ये था सर कि उसमें ऐसा कई हॉलीवुड के एक्टर्स, बड़े एक्टर्स के बारे में ये रूमर है कि सच है मुझे पता नहीं, लाइक फॉर अल पचिनो, या कई बार कहा जाता है कि दीज एक्टर्स दे डोंट ये रिक्वायर स्क्रिप्ट्स, और इनको बस डायरेक्टर सिचुएशन समझाता है, कहानी समझाता है, एंड व्हेन दे आर एक्चुअली ऑन द सेट डूइंग द होल, उस समय कैमरा वर्क चल रहा है, सब कुछ चल रहा है, तो वो अपने हिसाब से मतलब सोच के वो डायलॉग्स बोलते हैं. इज इट ट्रू सर कि आप बिना स्क्रिप्ट के भी मतलब जो एक्टर है उससे वो डिलीवर करवा सकते हो अगर उसको आपने ठीक से कहानी समझा दी है, सिचुएशन समझा दी है?
It is quite possible that if a film director could adopt this process of this, it's called improvisation, है ना. That आप एक framework बता दो actors को और उसके अंदर वो improvise करेगा, है ना. So it is quite possible, and some actors are very good. I don't know, Al Pacino या particular actors अगर पूछेंगे, I would not be knowing. मेरा डाउट है कि Al Pacino is a method actor. He goes by the script and stuff like that, you know. So, but that's not good. But it is possible. It is possible that it's a directorial process. You know, it's a directorial process. There's a guy called Money Call. There was a guy called Money Call. उसका स्क्रिप्ट है 2-3 पेज का सिनॉप्सिस है बेसिकली, है ना.
हाँ सर, मनी कॉल. यस सर.
मनी कॉल फॉर एग्जांपल, आदित्य जो ने लिखा है ना, उसमें वो फीचर फिल्म बना देता है, उतना ही काफी है उसको, है ना. हिंट. But there are flip side to it. There is a good part to it. Then everything becomes creation, na. In the set you are creating something. you're not implementing the script, है ना? अब अगर स्क्रिप्ट लिखते हो 90 मिनट्स का स्क्रिप्ट लिखते हो और 1 मिनट का एक पेज है, 90 मिनट्स का फिल्म है वो, एंड यूर राइटिंग, तो आदमी यहाँ से यहाँ आएगा, वहां से यहाँ आएगा, सर ऊपर करेगा और ये डायलॉग बोलेगा और आईज क्लोज करेगा और एग्जिट होएगा, ये सब डिटेल
Yes,
में अगर
sir.
लिखता है, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ वे, है ना? दैट इज ऑल्सो अ वे, एंड बट देन व्हाट आर यू डूइंग इन द स्टूडियो, इन द सेट, यू आर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग व्हाट इट इज, आपको ज्यादा क्रिएशन नहीं हो रहा है. So the certain directors use it as an ideological tool. मैं तो create कर रहा हूँ ना, मैं तो create कर रहा हूँ, and so therefore I'm creating it
Yes,
on
sir.
the set. So I'm improvising it. There's a synopsis that is there, or whatever it is there, and I'm improvising it on the set. That's a process of creation for something. For some people, it's a life and death matter. So there are actors who can do
Okay,
that
sir.
and stuff like that. But the flip side is,
Yes, sir.
it is not just about actors. अब एक्टर्स इम्प्रोवाइज करेंगे,
Okay, sir.
तो देन एक्टर्स बोलेंगे मैं यहाँ से यहाँ जाऊंगा, और वो बाय इंस्टिंक्ट ही कम्स फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर. अभी पता चला कि वहां पे लाइट ही नहीं है, क्या करेंगे आप? कैमरामैन तो
Right, sir.
रोएगा, कैमरामैन तो
Yes,
वो
sir.
रोएगा ना, या तो बोलेगा वो तो डार्क में चले जाओ, नो प्रॉब्लम, या तो फिर वो वेट करके वो उधर लाइट करेगा ना, और लाइट करेगा और फिर लाइट डालेगा, एंड इट
Right,
कॉस्ट
sir.
मनी, टाइम कॉस्ट मनी. So if you have the resources, you could do it, and you could do it well and fine. So both works.
Okay, sir.
Both works. There is a filmmaker called Eric Romer. Eric Romer is a French filmmaker.
Yes, sir.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
Eric Romer बहुत सारे improvisation करा देते हैं ना, and उसका कैमरा भी ज्यादा character movement भी नहीं होता है ना, so it works for him that way. So cost wise, so both things work, है ना? It depends
Okay.
on,
So money call, it's from for Uski Roti and Duvida, right, sir?
yeah, Uski Roti, Duvida, and all those things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Duvida, I think, was also remade by Amol Palekar as Paheli, I think, with Shah
That's
Rukh
right.
Khan.
It's
Yeah,
based on
if I'm not wrong.
Rajasthani short story.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Right,
clear.
sir.
So we'll go for the.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So short story हो गया, and ये oh, it's over na right now. So we still have some time.
Last answer is remaining.
Which
Last
one?
answer hasn't been done. This answer hasn't been done yet.
अच्छा, it's not. Abdul का कहानी ना. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Write a story for a feature film. Sludge does not corrupt gold. Okay.
Abdul and Chris, two 12-year-olds, were playing kabaddi in the dirt. A very intense scene where Abdul raids Chris. Chris gets hold of Abdul's feet as Abdul tries to run away, but Abdul kicks out of Chris's grip and manages to get the successful raid. In the process, hurting Chris a little. Chris starts crying, and Abdul apologizes and tries to console him. While Chris throws hands on Abdul, which is stopped by Abdul's mother just in time. Abdul's mother slaps Abdul for hurting Chris. Abdul tries to explain his mother that it was part of the game, but she was not having it. Abdul's father was a highly ethical, stepped on by the world kind of person. A dinner scene through dialogues where Abdul's mother complains about what happened and his dad acts proud while they run out of roti for Abdul as he asks for more. His dad gives him his roti. Mother is teary-eyed and she explains to Abdul's father how she doesn't want Abdul to suffer the same fate. Abdul never let go of his pride in his sense of justice nor his kabaddi skills and manages to get into DU under sports quota. Abdul's mother is very proud of him as she drops off to college, as she drops him off to college in a private rickshaw on first day. She asks Abdul to stay away from trouble and do his best academically as she bids him off. Abdul is awestruck by the world he just stepped in, barely bidding his mother bye. He had not seen riches in his life. As such, diverse students from all over India in their fancy outfits and big phones. A cultural festival seemed to be present in the college, and Abdul did not feel he could fit in. Sarah invited him to the private freshers party where they were hosting that night. Abdul was blushing as Sarah's fingertips brushed his hand, and she was handing him over the pamphlet. Abdul had never talked to girls as such in his life. He wanted to introduce himself, but Sarah was gone in a blip. Then came the night. Abdul was in his best fit, which still could not match the clothes most students were wearing in the morning. Joins the party at Okay. At
Hmm.
7 p.m., most students were wearing clothes in the morning. He joins the party at 7 p.m., which was the scheduled time, but there seemed no party. No one was present. It was an hour later, everybody showed up, and Abdul had to wait there awkwardly alone. Sarah came up to Abdul and asked him for how long has he been there. Not much, an hour. To which Sarah laughed hysterically. A party at 7 never starts at 7, she prompted. Abdul was not following why they found being late cool, as he recalled how he had to get in line 7 p.m. sharp to get ration groceries before they ran out. Most of the students settled in. Some started drinking. Sarah asked Abdul to join them, but Abdul found alcohol haram, so he denied and politely asked Sarah no to stay away from him, as he could not touch alcohol. Sarah continued to try to pull him, which triggered Abdul to push her. Other boys jumped on Abdul without a word, and they thrashed him hard. Abdul left the party, and it was first time in his life he cried in his dorm, vowing never to speak to any of these students again and to go by his business. After the class was over next day and Abdul was on his way, Sarah tried to talk to Abdul, but he was not having it. She apologized. No, he apologized and tried to get away to his dorm as he felt very weak. Yeah. Never drank your mother's milk or what? Sarah, when Abdul almost got away. What did you say? Yesterday night, you violated my boundaries, and now this disrespectful comment about my mother? Oh, I'm sorry. It was meant to disrespect you, Sarah. Swear to God. You were dead grass by now, but I don't raise fists on women. Look, I just wanted to apologize. I know I was wrong, and I felt very sorry for you getting beaten yesterday night. How do I know you mean it? All I know is you are friend with those people who don't listen twice before raising fists. Sarah looks around and calls one of those guys who beat Abdul yesterday night. Go for it, Sarah. Abdul nods a no. Sarah punches the guy whom she called. Did I ask you to beat him yesterday night? No, said the guy she called. Then get out of here, she prompted. Abdul accepts her apology, and Shreya chooses Abdul over the other guys in college, for she could see the honesty and integrity in him.
So, yeah, the way you're writing a sequence, I think the last sequence that you have written, you have a sense of building up a sequence in terms of basically, these are not just dialogues. These are sequences in which dialogues occur. You know? So
Yes,
I
sir.
think you have a knack for that. I think even in the earlier sequence when you write better, it's not just usme ye bola, usme ye bola, usme ye bola, usme ye bola. It's not just that. So it is interwoven into the action of the scene and stuff like that. So which is good. But
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Tell me.
Yes, sir. It's not fit for a feature film. It's not
Yeah, I get a
big enough.
feeling it's a short story kind of thing. You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I could feel for this
Yeah.
one. I could feel it while writing.
Yeah.
For the previous answer, I still have that in my head that yeah, it could be a feature film. But for this one, it just felt I couldn't go any further with
Yeah,
it. Yes, sir.
yeah. So if you're probably so this ends here, na? So usko
Yes, sir.
dosti ban gaya, hai na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Probably if you had gone further into this, है ना, in a synopsis mode, in a story mode, है ना, because you have been asked to write a story here, है ना?
Yes, sir.
वो उसके बाद क्या होगा, misunderstanding हो गया, and then फिर प्यार हो गया, and then वो breakup हो गया, and then finally वापस ये हो गया, है ना? These kinds of things, you know, घिसा पिटा
Yes,
बोल
sir.
रहा हूँ, घिसा पिटा बोल रहा हूँ, but
Yes, sir.
I'm
We have to
sure.
find something meaningful in there. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So otherwise, without that, it looks like a short story. And
Okay,
believe
sir.
me, it's not a bad short story. It's a good one that you have written, है ना? वहां तक भी
Thanks, sir.
थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर का लैंग्वेजिंग का इशू अगर होता है तो मेरे ख्याल से ये शॉर्ट फिल्म का बहुत बढ़िया बनता है. बट दिस इज नॉट व्हाट इज आस्क्ड, ना?
Yes,
तो राइट
yes.
स्टोरी इतना डिटेलिंग में जाने का जरूरत नहीं है डायलॉग सीक्वेंसिंग में. ये
Yes, sir.
ट्रीटमेंट में you have to sometimes write a 15-page treatment, है ना? So then these kinds of things like would actually work. The last sequence that you talk about would actually.
Yes, sir.
actually
Then we can write some scenes in detail as
yes,
such. Yeah, sir.
yes, you can, without letting
Sir.
the narrative flow of the story.
So we must then adhere to a certain structure for the answer, because writing a story of a film in 500 words, you have to be very aware about where you're beginning, where the conflict settles in, and then where it turns into something. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Absolutely. You have to work that all out in your head and then write you 500 words. Then write
Yes,
you
sir.
1,000 words. Of course,
Yes, sir.
obviously, you have to do it.
Exam last.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to actually accommodate a lot of thought into the structure of the whole situation. एंड उतना समय नहीं मिलता है उस समय आपको जो तुरंत महसूस हो रहा है इंस्टिंक्टिवली आपको वही मतलब वही लिख पाते हैं एक्चुअली और
Absolutely.
You
कुछ
can
सोचता ही
be,
नहीं है
I think so. We can practice it out more.
Yes.
तो फिर आप करते जाएंगे बाकी क्वेश्चन जो है वो रह जाते हैं
नहीं, he's
So-
saying what Aditya is saying, you can practice it out. आज अभी बंद क्लास के बाद आप you can practice it out.
Yes,
Tomorrow
sir.
Sunday you can practice it out. So these kinds of things, and hopefully
Formal
that,
structure. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
hopefully that in the examination when you have to write it फटाफट, this practice helps, instinctively. You will, I believe it works. For me, it works,
Yes.
Fine, it works. I have written a script in 1 week, once
Yes,
I've
sir.
written a feature film in one week because I knew that I know for the fact that you have felt all these things. You've been, it's a personal experience kind of a thing that comes across here. And if it is a personal, no, I'm not saying Sarah and all is personal, but the feel of
Yes,
it,
sir.
going to a college, feeling out of place there, and all those things. I mean, I can see that it is felt, either you have
So
felt
to
it
be
or
fair, it is not, this one
or-
is particularly not related. The
but
rivalry one,
you have seen it. But even if you
yes,
have
sir.
not
Yes,
felt
sir.
it, you have seen it.
Yes, sir.
आपके दोस्त के साथ होगा या
Yes,
आपके
sir. Yes,
college
sir.
में
Yes, sir.
होगा.
Yes, sir.
मतलब you are in know of it. मतलब you don't
Yes,
have
sir.
to do extra research to know about it.
Yes, sir.
तो ये
So I
बोल
just
रहा
tend
हूँ.
to write in the territory that I know of. I don't
Absolutely.
like to write where of
Yeah,
life experiences that
Sure.
I haven't felt of.
Sure. So that shows that you have seen this or experienced this as you are writing it. That is absolutely clear, and that's a very good quality that is yeah. But what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying is, if you practice it, practice the structure of it,
Yes, sir.
and then in the examination it might become a little more, that much more easier.
Yes,
That
sir.
much-
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not saying it is going to be a fantastic thing, but it will be that much more easier.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm getting
So
it. Yes, sir.
that's how it is.
Yes, sir.
But I like the fact that we have written this, and I would like to see this scripted well. Slides. Okay. So we still have, this ends the thing. Anything else you would want to, any topic that I stop screen sharing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Number.
this important question I also asked. Yes, sir. Sir, this question I also asked Ranjan sir in the last lecture. Sir, about this whole television वाला course, television wing वाला जो course sir जो 11 February को होने वाला है. So who should apply for that and how it is different from the jet वाला courses? And मतलब इसमें कुछ ये सिर्फ soap operas के ऊपर focus करेगा ठीक से मतलब clarity नहीं आ पा रही है सर. रंजन सर ने बताया था कि मोटा मोटी it is going to be same पर उतना ज्यादा डिटेल्ड नहीं होगा. बट अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा 4 तारीख को उसका लास्ट है फॉर्म भरने का तो if you can tell us something about it.
Yeah, the television course I've done. Uh, I've taken documentary modules for them. I've taken short scripting modules. I've mentored some of them and stuff like that.
Yes sir.
2 years back, and off and
Yes,
on
sir.
I've been doing that. But this JET entrance exam, they don't need a JET examination for that.
No, sir. This is not the joint
actually-
entrance test. This is only for FTII
Sir-
and TV wing.
FTII में अलग
सर
test
एक्चुअली
होता है.
इस बार क्या
Yes, sir.
हुआ है कि सेमिनार देखा सर मैंने तो ये एग्जाम पहले पिछले साल तक जेट के थ्रू ही होता था बट बिकॉज ऑफ द एआईसीटीई गाइडलाइंस क्योंकि जेट काफी आगे पुश हुआ अप्रैल मई तक जाएगा जहां तक सुन रहे हैं तो इसलिए उनको एक एग्जाम अभी कंडक्ट कराना जरूरी था इसलिए
अच्छा.
वो टीवी विंग वाला अभी कर रहे हैं और
अच्छा,
शायद जेट में भी होगा ऐसा कुछ
Yes,
तो है.
sir. JET में भी है एक और TV wing का एग्जाम मेरे ख्याल से
अच्छा.
scheduled है. Yes, sir.
हाँ सेम यही वाला ही रहेगा शायद.
I tell you, there are 2 wings at the Film Institute, Film and Television Institute. One is a film wing, as you all know. The other is basically television. It is called television wing. Why? It was initially started because it was a training ground for Doordarshan people. है ना? तो बाद
Yes,
में
sir.
Doordarshan
Okay,
people चला
sir.
गया and then they thought उसका utility चला गया. दूरदर्शन तो अपने आप करने लगा. So they started making उनका existence करने के लिए they making 1 year course करने लगा. They called it television and engineering. This is an offshoot of the earlier legacy, है ना? but it is called television and electronic
Okay, sir.
television and electronic news learning. Electronic news learning तो चला गया है, सब digital आ गया है ना. So, but the name stands. But
Right, sir.
what does the course imply? Is the course is 1 year course. The syllabus that is there is exactly the same as the 3 year course, but is, as Ranjan has rightly pointed out, it is a condensed one. For example, if in the
Okay, sir.
film wing there is a 6 months common course or 8 months common course or whatever, 1 semester common course, in here 2.5 months पे common course खत्म हो जाती है ना. So by common course I mean
Okay, sir.
everyone has to learn camera, everyone has to learn sound, everyone has to learn in spite of your specialization, everyone has to
Yes, sir.
वो 3-3.5 महीने में खत्म हो जाते हैं, and then you get into specialization right then and there, and the course structure is the same. आपको सॉन्ग पिक्चराइजेशन करना होगा, विजुअल सीन करना होगा, आपको डायलॉग एक्सरसाइज करना होगा, and
Yes, sir.
things like that, and but the
Okay, sir.
intensity of the teaching decreases because there is less time. There is less time. Now, having said that, most of the placements that
Right, sir.
happen, having
Right,
said that, most of the placements that have happened from the television wing, in recent years. So but they don't have एक के
Okay,
बाद
sir.
एक के बाद एक के बाद एक के बाद एक फटाफट before you know the course is over, that kind of a thing. Documentary खत्म हो गया, वो अपने दूसरा में चला गया. Now the only exercises that is there in the television wing and not there in the film wing is something called a 3 camera setup, multi-camera setup, which is what television is all about.
Okay, sir.
So multi-camera setup is the only exercise that you do.
Okay, sir.
That is you could do a reality show, you could do a news anchoring show or something like that. Everyone has to do that kind
Right,
of a
sir.
thing. But otherwise,
So that's a good addition, you mean?
yeah. Otherwise, they don't teach you how to make reality shows. That is not there. They don't teach you how to do.
Sir, yes, sir. My fear regarding the course was, sir, कि ऐसा तो नहीं होने वाला कि जो पैटर्न वाले जिन शोज की हम बात कर रहे थे वैसा सिर्फ बनाना सिखाने वाले, या ये सोप ओपरास के बारे में है, या वैसा कुछ तो नहीं है. My only fear was that regarding the course. ऐसा कुछ तो नहीं.
नहीं वो होगा कोई. The whole course is not that. The whole course is a condensed form of a film course itself, है ना, despite the name. एक होगा, एक मॉड्यूल होगा जो यहाँ पे
Yes, sir.
यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री का टेलीविजन वाले आएगा, कोई बोलेगा टेलीविजन ऐसा होता है, ऐसा होता है, ऐसा होता है, and stuff like that. See, after you do your exercises and before you do
Okay,
your
sir.
final,
Right, sir.
before you do your final film, there are a lot
Right,
of industry guys who come and take workshops. People from the industry come and take workshops. वहां पे कोई
Right, sir.
टेलीविजन में से आ सकता है and तो थोड़ा टेलीविजन के बारे में बता सकता है, but these are like secondary elements. First elements is आप कैसे फिल्म को देखते हैं, फिल्म ऑडियो वीडियो
Okay, sir.
एडिट कैसे करते हैं, things like that. It's a condensed version of a film course basically.
Right, sir.
And जिसका
Got it,
पास
sir. Got it, sir. Thank
जिसका
you so
पास
much, sir.
या जिसका पास टाइम नहीं है, जिसका पास पैसा नहीं है स्पेंड करने के लिए 3 years, तो उसके लिए ये अच्छा है. Having said that, people have done 1 year course are not satisfied and they have joined the 3 year
Right,
course. 3 year course वो भी है लोग, है ना, people लोग ये भी करते हैं. So it
Right,
is
sir.
not
So,
the
one more doubt related to this only. Yes, sir.
tell me.
Sir, yes, sir. इसके regarding एक doubt था, sir, कि after doing this course, the kind of opportunities one gets is in the TV is not going to be limited to just the TV industry, but वैसा कुछ division या differentiation नहीं है.
नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. So suppose for example a cameraman wants to have assistants at some point of time, है ना, so he will call up these some of his friends in this who are teaching here, and then आप वो कैमरा ले सकते हैं. Then you can in fact if you do the television, your scope is much more. You can also be an assistant director, join as an assistant director. You could also be an executive in a television company or something like that, which film guys don't normally do, है ना.
Okay, sir.
ये सब हो सकता है. You can either get into
Right,
films
sir.
or you can get into television setup. And television, by television I mean now OTT setup, है ना. You could also do that.
Right, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So
Sir, again, I will insist about the inspiration, film inspiration thing, film appreciation about the history of Indian cinema and appreciating that. So so I want to know what is the significance of that as an artist, because personally I will insist again, I find more inspiration for myself in the modern cinema, and I'm more driven to consume modern cinema, and I just find more inspiration in that, and I am unable to appreciate old cinema if I see it. So what is the, I mean, what is the importance of film appreciation, and what should we derive from that as an artist?
Um, for me, film appreciation is one of the important foundation on which your filmmaking is based on. You know, why are we doing film appreciation? There are a couple of things in film appreciation. One is to know the language of filmmaking and how it has developed over the last 100 years. है ना? तो वो एक language develop होती है ना, although it is not like as precise as English language or Hindi language or something like that. वो rules होती है. यहाँ पे rules नहीं है, practice होती है. Practice हर 10 साल 15 साल में change होती रहती है at some point of time. So it is important to know how the language has changed over this year, so that when you are taking a shot, you know उसका legacy क्या है. You're not thinking that मैं एक नया कर रहा हूँ, because all this you have done is already been done. So you know what is being done. It is easy for you to create something else, something new. No, you are not under the false impression that ये मैं नया बना रहा हूँ, because 100 years पहले आपसे आपका बाप ने बना लिया, मेरा बाप ने बना लिया, है ना. तो सब करके 1920s 30s 40s में सब कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट किया. मैं क्या एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहा हूँ? If you know what is being experimented, then it is possible to think, go beyond. You know? So in that sense, film appreciation in that aspect is very, very, very important. You know, for example, you should be knowing what Griffith did. Griffith is G.W. Griffith, 1920s का American Hollywood film का one of the masters. ना, तो वो Griffith ने क्या किया? ना, he popularized the close-up. Now we are like, you know, आपका television screen mid-shot close-up में है, मेरा close-up में है अभी, है ना? We are taking it for granted. But how did it use that? You know, so वो important हो जाता है to know the language of the practice of language of the whole film. That is one thing. Second thing, what you learn in film appreciation is, or film studies, is there are different movements that have happened all over the years in these last 120 years or 30 years, different movements. And each movement is a product of the social circumstances and the cinematic circumstances. It is important to know those movements. For example, the French New Wave, the Italian Neorealism, तो एक दूसरे के साथ connected है ना. French Italian Neorealism पढ़ना है because Satyajit Ray is influenced by that, है ना. या Iranian cinema is influenced by that. So, you know, the Neorealism kind of a thing. Your New Wave, Godard, आजकल Godard, you have heard of a filmmaker called Jean-Luc Godard?
Yes sir, yes sir.
तो उसने उस टाइम पे 60s में जंप कट्स यूज किया है ना.
Yes sir.
जंप कट्स यूज किया. आज की एडवर्टाइजमेंट फिल्म में जंप कट्स इज लाइक दैट. वी आर यूज्ड टू दैट. तो उसका लेगेसी क्या है? गोदार्ड का लेगेसी है ना. So it is important to know what is it that you're creating. Na? So I think it helps you, and then in your creation, for me at least, it has helped me in my creation. You know? At least I'm not in a food's paradise. कि यार मैं नया कर रहा हूँ, you know, so that kind of a thing. I know this is my legacy. Yeah. Yes, Naman.
Sir, on the same note, like how Orson Welles revolutionized all the technical specs of filmmaking via Citizen Kane. I mean,
Yeah.
one could have not imagined the way he did all the diffuse shots while in the at the starting of the film, and then I think the immediate effect of that you could see appreciating that film or appreciating the history of filmmaking immediately. Kagaz Ki Phool in Guru Dutt's film, you could actually one can clearly observe that he has taken inspiration from Citizen Kane on the dining table scene or the diffuse shots. I was
But,
able to see that at least.
there is a very important note to that it was a new film for that time, and then it was inspired from it. So the newer films right now, I am heavily inspired by those to create more. I find inspiration in those. I find scenes that just strike me very much. But older films, I don't find, I fail to find those kind of innovations in them, because they are innovating. I'm sure they are innovating for their time. And as such, there is a problem with me that I fail to appreciate history. I don't somehow manage. I try, but I I find more relevance in what we live as of now. So somehow I fail to appreciate history, and that is why this is a problem for me. As you said that
Okay.
some were inspired by
May
citizen.
I say something, Aditya?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, may I say something to you? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think I understand your problem. Yeah, so I think I understand your problem क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होगा हमारी एज में. मैं 99 बॉर्न हूँ, so बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है. तो
Yes, sir.
मुझे तुम्हारी प्रॉब्लम जो है ना वो समझ में आ रही है. एंड दिस वाज सेम फॉर मी एज वेल. थोड़े सालों पहले तक मुझे भी कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं आता था कि कोई ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी की फिल्म आ रही है या कोई सत्यजीत रे की फिल्म आ रही है, श्याम बेनेगल की फिल्म आ रही है. आई यूज्ड टू से कि ये क्या है, मतलब बहुत ही बोरिंग फिल्म है, मुझे कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं आ रहा है. तो व्हाट हैपेंड, मेरे अंदर एक बहुत बड़ा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ, काफी बड़ा. मतलब द काइंड ऑफ फिल्म्स आई नेवर केयर्ड, आई स्टार्टेड केयरिंग अबाउट देम. और वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ रीडिंग से, लिटरेचर से, बहुत ज्यादा. मतलब मुझे भी नहीं लगता था कि यार ये इतनी पुरानी फिल्म है, मुझे क्यों इसमें इंटरेस्ट आना चाहिए. मैं रह रहा हूँ 2016 में, 17 में, और फिल्म देख रहा हूँ 1960 की. कोई पॉइंट ही नहीं है देखने का. बट दिस चेंज्ड व्हेन आई सॉ आनंद. एंड आनंद को बहुत सारे लोगों ने मतलब मुझे बोला था, और मुझे समझ में आया कि कैसे एक फिल्म का टाइम से कभी कोई लेना देना नहीं हो सकता. आनंद इज टाइमलेस, आप कभी भी देखिए वो रेलेवेंट रहेगी. एंड सेम गोज विद, आप श्याम बेनेगल का सिनेमा देखेंगे, कहानियां या जो भी फिल्म्स उन्होंने जिस तरीके की बनाई है वो इतनी रेलेवेंट है हर समय में. और जब आप उनके बारे में पढ़ते हैं तब आपको इंटरेस्ट आता है. तो मैं जैसे सुन पा रहा था तुम्हारी प्रॉब्लम, तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर तुम थोड़ा रीड करना चालू करोगे एंड यू विल रीड अबाउट दीज फिल्म मेकर्स, द क्वालिटी वंस, मतलब ऑल द बिमल रॉय एंड ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी एंड फ्रॉम पैरेलल सिनेमा के जो हुए, और जितने भी सर बताएंगे काफी सारे तो इंडियन सिनेमा के, तो यू विल इवेंचुअली, तुमको बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट आएगा. मैंने तुम्हें वो व्हाट्सएप पे भी बोला था कि विल स्टार्ट, कुछ पिक करो 2-4 फिल्म मेकर्स एंड स्टार्ट जस्ट रीडिंग अबाउट देम. और बहुत मजा आएगा यार, बहुत मजा आएगा. अपन लोग काफी बात कर सकते हैं, अभी भी मेरे को फोन लगा लो, घंटों बात कर सकते हैं अपन. बहुत मजा आएगा.
हाँ, मेरे को एक्चुअली काफी क्यूरियोसिटी है इस चीज को लेके.
Yeah, there is also this 1 month film appreciation course that the Film Institute conducts along with the.
सर आई डिड दैट.
Yeah.
सर आई डिड दैट 1 month लॉन्ग फिल्म एप्रिसिएशन कोर्स ऑनलाइन किया सर मैंने, अरुणा राजे पाटिल मैम के साथ.
अरुणा राजे मैम ना, वो लास्ट टाइम.
जी सर, बहुत मजा आया सर, बहुत मजा आया सर.
हाँ, एक होता है, कुछ फिल्म्स होता है कि यूनिवर्सल वैल्यूज होती है उसमें, है ना. तो एक होता है वो यूनिवर्सल वैल्यू, एक फॉर्म होता है उसका, वो फॉर्म वो टाइम टू टाइम चेंज हो सकता है. आज फास्ट कटिंग हो सकता है, इफ यू सी RRR, है ना. RRR में 3 सेकंड 4 सेकंड्स के अंदर शॉट खत्म हो जाती है ना. व्हेन कंपेयर टू से बिमल रॉय, कुछ आई मीन वो सब सुपर चेंजेस हो सकता है. But if you look at the core of it,
राइट सर.
what is Bimal Roy talking about in Do Bigha Zameen, for example? Do Bigha Zameen करके एक फिल्म है ना, बलराज साहनी का फिल्म है.
राइट सर, राइट.
It is about the
यस सर,
migration.
देखिए सर, दैट वाज इंस्पायर्ड बाय बाइसिकल थीव.
Yeah, bicycle thing. वो सब historical facts
Technically,
है.
yes,
It's but even if you forget all this historical fact, even if you forget that it is inspired by bicycle thieves, if you're looking at Do Bigha Zameen, what are the universal values that it is talking about? It's talking about migration, it is talking about frustration,
Right, sir.
it is talking about capitalism, it is talking about city life, है ना, it is talking about urbanizations, है ना. तो आज के जमाने में मैं बाहर जाऊं, यहाँ पे
Right, sir.
फ्लाईओवर है यहाँ पे, वहाँ पे एवरी समर सीजन में भर जाता है फ्लाईओवर के नीचे. महाराष्ट्र से लोग आते हैं जो यहाँ पे, जहाँ पे उनका पास रेन्स नहीं है, whenever there is no rain, and suddenly I feel that फ्लाईओवर्स के नीचे ज्यादा लोग हैं, you know why? Because बारिश नहीं हो रहा है उस टाइम पे लातूर में, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एंड पीपल आर कमिंग हियर फॉर सर्च ऑफ फूड. जो बिकॉज आई मीन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट,
Right, sir.
है ना, दैट यूनिवर्सैलिटी, है ना, वो अभी भी मेरे को देखने को मिल रहा है ना. आई एम श्योर इन आपका सिटीज में भी हो सकता है
Right.
ऐसा है ना. सो these universal values आपको ढूंढना है इस फिल्म में. If any film doesn't exhibit these universal values, then it doesn't test of time, तो वो it doesn't pass the test of time. I think the films that some of us are talking about, it passes the test of time. Bicycle Thieves is about Italy. What is, मेरे से क्या लेना देना है इटाली का, है ना. तो literally,
Right, sir.
but it is talking about human emotion basically, ना. तो वो the opportunity is to look at this
Right, sir.
यूनिवर्सलिटी. बाकी थोड़ा सा दो बीघा जमीन स्लो है, लॉन्ग टेक में शूट किया है सिटीजन के. आज के जमाने में 3 सेकंड में एक कट हो रहा है. हैव यू सीन RRR? RRR देखा आपने?
नो
No,
सर.
sir.
अभी देखो, पूरा फिल्म
नहीं
थ्रिलर
देख पाए सर. अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी तक नहीं देख पाया।
पूरा फिल्म ट्रेलर जैसा है है ना?
Thank you, sir.
वो आजकल
Yes, sir.
लैंग्वेज
देखेंगे सर, आपने बोला है, जरूर देखेंगे सर।
नॉट दैट आई एम ए ग्रेट फैन ऑफ इट, बट मैं एज एन एग्जांपल बोल रहा हूँ, है ना? तो आजकल टाइम नहीं है ना किसी का पास।
जी सर, जी सर।
फटाफट 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 इन्होंने पूरा फिल्म फीचर फिल्म। इनफैक्ट द पर्सन हु एडिटेड इट इज अ वेरी यंग चैप हु यूज्ड टू कट ट्रेलर्स, ना? तो इसीलिए वो ट्रेलर का लैंग्वेज आ गया उधर, है ना? दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग। So language, the modality of the language would
Okay, sir.
change.
Didn't know that, sir.
Modality of the language would change, but वो जो universal value जो है वो है क्या नहीं, वो देखना पड़ेगा, है ना? Those who do not get it, so I'm just telling you one of a Bisa Pita quote.
अरे
Those who do not learn from history are bound to, I mean, repeat the mistakes of history, है ना? So that's a very Bisa Pita quote, है ना? But that's there.
right,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything else we have? There's some more time left. Anything you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. If sir, if I'm creating certain works, so can I somehow find directors to maybe pitch my work to or assist under, get an opportunity to be on sets?
In the sense, you're going to pitch your work to a director.
Yes, sir. If they would like me to be on their sets to be assist or do menial work at best, but yeah,
You
so
could
that
do that. You could. Where do you stay?
yeah, so I stay in Varanasi, but I am willing to commute if I get opportunities
A
at this point now.
lot of filmmakers come to Varanasi and shoot, no? In fact, there is a coordinator also in Varanasi. I forgot
So
his name. बड़ा
Yes,
सा
sir.
दाढ़ी है उनको, है ना? एकदम हेफ्टी एक्टिंग भी करते हैं वो लोग, उसका नाम भूल गया मैं, है ना? तो वो you could, there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity. You can always go and ask them and stuff like that. There are two ways. You start off initially as an apprentice, है ना? And then later on, then वो था कि 6 महीने काम किया बच्चे ने, तो उसको
Yes.
assistant बना देते हैं ना? Then they take it into a, you're taken into the director's fold, and so then
Yes,
you
sir.
move up the ladder, and then things like that. You could become assistant. You could be in the direction team of a particular director. You could do that. You could start off by looking at films that are coming to shoot in Varanasi, for example, you know, and then gain some experience, and then probably before
Yes.
shifting to any other city, you could do that.
Sir, सर ऑन आदित्य's क्वेश्चन, एक चीज बताइए सर, मतलब आप इंडस्ट्री में हैं, तो सर क्या डिफरेंस होता है एक फिल्म मेकर में जो एक पूरे फॉर्मल एजुकेशन लेके आ रहा है इंस्टीट्यूट से और सब कुछ थ्योरी से, हर चीज से, टीचर से, और वर्सेस जैसे आदित्य की अप्रोच है कि वो डायरेक्टली जाके असिस्ट करता है और उनसे सीख रहा है, मतलब प्रैक्टिकली एक अलग ढंग से। और तो पहले जो फिल्म मेकर्स थे मेरे ख्याल से उन्होंने भी ऐसे सीखा था। सर तो क्या डिफरेंस होता है और हमको क्या करना चाहिए इस बारे में, क्योंकि कई बार ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आ भी सकती हैं किसी के साथ कि मौका मिल रहा है किसी को असिस्ट कराने का, पर वो ऐसी सोच में पड़ जाए कि नहीं भैया मैं तो इंस्टीट्यूट से होके जाना चाहता हूँ, मुझे नहीं चाहिए ये अपॉर्चुनिटी आपकी। सर तो ये मतलब आप इस पे थोड़ा सा।
मेरे साथ हुआ ना ऐसा। After 3 years in the institute,
अच्छा ओके सर।
after 3 years in the
जी सर।
institute, you are a director. You are a director. आप वो फिल्म बना सकते हैं, है ना?
यस सर।
आप तो बिल्कुल बना सकते हैं ना,
राइट
बिल्कुल एकदम। देयर इज नो चॉइस, नो सेकंड थॉट्स अबाउट इट। योर 3 years या 1 साल भी बोलो थोड़ा
Right,
सा,
sir.
या 3 साल अगर करते हैं आप डायरेक्टर हो, आप असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर नहीं हो, है ना? बट आपको घर चलाना
Right,
है, किचन चलाना है वगैरह वगैरह, वो भी है। देन यू स्टार्ट असिस्टिंग पीपल एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट।
राइट सर।
मैंने
Right,
मैंने
sir.
मैंने आई टुक अ डिसीजन। ये अपना अपना एटीट्यूड भी है, अपना 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 थॉट वर्ल्ड व्यू क्या है वो।
Yes, sir.
आई टुक अ डिसीजन, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू असिस्ट एनीवन at that point of time. In 30 years back, 35 years back, I was
Okay, sir.
I Kundan Shah, for
Yes, sir.
example. Kundan Shah, some of my friends assisted.
Yes sir, yes sir.
कुमार साहनी तो शॉक हो गया था, ये सर नहीं मेरे साथ नहीं करेगा तू,
Yes, sir.
है ना? दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग। सो मैं सॉरी सर, मैं नहीं करूंगा ना, मैं इंडिपेंडेंट हूँ। नॉट दैट इमीडिएटली मेरे को इंडिपेंडेंट वर्क मिला, बट आई हैड टू क्रिएट इंडिपेंडेंट। मैंने अपना टेलीविजन
Yes,
काम
sir.
किया, पहले
So these
टेलीविजन
are all
काम।
big names. These are huge names.
या तो टेलीविजन काम किया, उसके पैसे से मैंने एक शॉर्ट फिल्म बनाया, हम 3 लोगों ने मिलके पुणे में शूट किया था। इस तरह की हरकतें हमने की थी, एंड देन मैं वो द लास्ट
Sir, I've
33।
been doing exactly that. Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो ये अलग मजा है उसमें।
जी सर।
But yeah, it's sometimes it pays, sometimes like you have to wait for the payment and stuff like that. So being independent, then you can set up your own production house and you can buy your camera, आजकल डिजिटल कैमरा। तो ये एक तरीका होता है which I adopted, and sometimes I feel, but there is a flip side also, तो आपको वो रेगुलर सैलरी नहीं मिलेगा, हाँ,
That
उस
film is
तरह
a
की।
very unrewarding genre.
या बट वो उसका मजा ही अलग है, बट
Yes, sir.
बट
It's expression, but it's unrewarding. Yes.
but there are certain times when I got to make a documentary film for 25 lakhs. It was unheard of, है ना? डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म तो
Oh.
3-4 लाख में बनती
Yes
है।
sir, 25 lakhs for a documentary.
हाँ, 25
जी
लाख।
सर,
तो
जी सर।
सब्जेक्ट वो 10 साल पहले की बात है, सब्जेक्ट ही ऐसा था। डॉक्टर होमी बाबा का ऊपर था। हाँ, so डॉक्टर
जी
होमी
सर।
बाबा, one of the scientists, greatest
ओह,
scientist, so that kind of a thing।
होमी
But
बाबा, यस सर, ट्रॉम्बे
yeah,
पूरी उन्हीं
Bombay,
की देन है।
Tata Institute of Fundamental Science, Bombay, and all those things.
टाटा
So
इंस्टीट्यूट, यस
yeah,
सर,
it has its, it
राइट
has
सर।
its ups, but be ready for downs also. but मेरा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल
सर
चलता
वो
रहे।
डॉक्यूमेंट्री कहाँ पे रहेगी, कहाँ पे देख सकते हैं वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री?
वो it is under in the archives of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Science, एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है बॉम्बे में,
इट इज सर।
टाटा
यस
इंस्टीट्यूट
सर,
ऑफ
यस सर।
फंडामेंटल साइंस का करके उनके लिए बनाया था, उनके आर्काइव्स में होगा वो ना। आई डोंट नो इफ इट्स ऑनलाइन, बट उनके आर्काइव्स में जरूर है। तो
विल लुक
ये
फॉर इट सर, वुड
या
लव टू वॉच अ डॉक्यूमेंट्री
या ये
ऑन होमी बाबा।
ये एक इंडिपेंडेंट है, यू आर योर ओन बॉस, है ना? जिंदगी भर यू आर योर ओन बॉस, मतलब ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर देयर, ना? यू आर ऑल दोस थिंग्स। ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ मैं कुंदन शाह के पास गया, है ना, या कुंदन शाह के पास गया और 2 साल असिस्ट
जी
किया,
सर।
3 साल असिस्ट किया, then I stick to him for 4 years। and for example, if कुंदन शाह, फॉर एग्जांपल, आप गए किसी के पास, आप गए अडवाणी के पास, क्या अडवाणी है उसका नाम, निखिल अडवाणी के पास, है ना? निखिल अडवाणी के पास गया और तो आपने
जी
3
सर।
साल बिताया, 4 साल बिताया, आपने मिनियल जॉब किया, क्लैप किया, स्क्रिप्ट किया, वो सब किया, एक्टर हैंडलिंग किया। आपने एक, इफ यू आर इनटू दैट, इनटू द इंडस्ट्री,
जी
आपने
सर।
एक कॉन्टैक्ट डेवलप किया इंडस्ट्री के साथ, है ना? You have you're acting, you're telling, you're giving dialogues to the star, for example, है ना? You're calling the star, आप आ जाइए, सेट पे आ जाइए, क्लैप है, प्रोड्यूसर के साथ, प्रोड्यूसर देखेगा वो कुछ स्टफ, अडवाणी का प्रोड्यूसर देखेगा कि यार ये लड़का जो है ट्रस्टवर्थी है ना? अगली बार हम छोटी सी फिल्म बनाएंगे, विनोद अडवाणी को आप देंगे 4 करोड़ का फिल्म, 10 करोड़ का फिल्म, है ना? एक छोटी सी 50 लाख का फिल्म आपको देंगे, शायद देंगे दिस गाय, है ना? वो तो होगा 4-5 साल के बाद, 6 साल के बाद, एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट। तो एक एडवांटेजेस भी है उसमें, so that you develop your own contacts, and if you are into the film industry, and as you know, without an actor, without a star, you won't get finance।
यस सर।
in the film industry, you have to have an actor। तो आप एक एक्टर
Right,
को
sir.
एक्सेसिबिलिटी मिल जाएगा, प्रोड्यूसर को एक्सेसिबिलिटी मिल जाएगा। So there are chances that you get into the circuit by assisting। Whereas in the independent way, आपको जाना पड़ेगा उसको, है ना, डेवलप करना पड़ेगा कॉन्टैक्ट एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स हो जाए। So it has its advantage, it has its disadvantage। Ultimately आपका choice है, what do you want to do, you know, basically। So that's it। I choose the other way around। I didn't want to assist anyone। I've been मर तो नहीं गया मैं ना। I didn't I'm alive and I'm surviving। मेरे electricity bill भी I'm paying, you know, that kind of thing।
Yes, sir. So yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there is more or less no straight way into this thing where you can find producers for your scripts. It's just it is going to be a bit of a hustle.
Absolutely। पैसा कहाँ से भी आ जाए तो then that is always going to be a problem। Problem नहीं, you should not consider it as a problem, it's a part of the job।
Uncertainty, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a part of the job।
That is on my chalkboard right now. Uncertainty versus
हाँ,
creativity.
हाँ,
What do I
but
want more? Certainty, creativity.
so it depends on आपको पास पैसा नहीं है, you go and join people, है ना? जब पता चला कि यार पैसा आ गया आपके साथ, अरे छोड़ो, टाटा बाय बाय बोल दो, है ना? I don't know, it's up to you, and I'm not saying you do this or you don't do this।
Right, sir.
Fortunately, for the first 10 years of my life, I was doing this non-fiction series called Surabhi। Surabhi is a serial produced by a person called Siddharth Kar and anchored by Siddharth and Renuka Sahni। ना?
Yes, sir.
So I
Surabhi,
was,
I know, sir. I know Surabhi.
so often 10, for the first 10 years of life, whenever I needed money, I used to go to Siddharth and say, मेरे को करना है ना, एक schedule दे दो, है ना. So he used to somehow manage one schedule, and I used to go and shoot and come back and edit and give it to him. And then I was a creative director for the series for 2 years. All those things happened. So it's how you
Sir,
take your
Surabhi
own.
is that serial, no? That Renuka Sahni and Siddharth Kak?
Yes, yes, yes. So it's up to you to find your own path.
Yes,
ना,
sir.
I can say that this is also possible, this is also possible, है ना. जिसका एडवांटेज ये भी है, इसका एडवांटेज, एक का एडवांटेज में आपको कॉन्टेक्ट डेवलप है. मेरे को तो मेन स्ट्रीम करना ही नहीं है ना. मैं मेन स्ट्रीम असिस्टेंट करके मैं क्या करूँ ना, मेरे को करना ही नहीं है. इनफैक्ट the first job was a mainstream job. I was the 8th assistant to filmmakers called Ramsey Brothers. Have you heard of Ramsey Brothers? Ramsey Brothers used to make horror films.
Yes, sir. I've seen those films. Right, sir.
हवेली की रात, समथिंग है ना.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
वो लोग काली काली रात, वो इतनी बड़ी दांत होती है, वैम्पायर्स होते हैं, सब like that. I was the 8th assistant. After passing graduate from the institute, I was the 8th assistant. वो बंदा बोलता है मेरे को, आपको क्लैप करना आता है? क्लैप क्या, मेरे को फिल्म डायरेक्ट करना आता है ना, that kind of a thing. तो एक शेड्यूल किया मैंने, बोला, then I decided I'm not going to do the mainstream commercial cinema. So I have stuck with that, है ना. So therefore the path towards independent, but that is my path, है ना. That is my
Yes, sir.
circumstances, है ना.
Sir,
Yours
yes, sir.
could be totally different.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, what did FTII give to you, if
Confidence.
not contacts?
Confidence. After 3 years, I can make a film. I am a filmmaker. I am not an assistant director. In fact, I have been asked to start a film school in Gandhinagar, you know, and I am
Okay.
fighting. And by 3 years, I am going to train people into making directors. I'm not going to train people to become assistant directors. That is what I told them. No.
Yes, I more or less have this ego in me to create for myself instead of for anyone, and this thing is there in me, but at the same time it feels it might stop me from
Yeah,
trying to.
there should be a balance. There should be a balance. Whoever is paying the money would obviously have a kind of say. Why would someone wants to, for example, give 25 lakhs to me for making a documentary?
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Why would one? Because they need to portray Dr. Homi Baba in his and his contribution to Indian science and Indian society. Now, if I am in agreement with that, then it is fine, no? Now, what
Yes, sir.
happens? What happens when I do not? I'm a very religious person, and I don't like Homi Baba's work, science.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a very puja part करता हूँ, science को believe ही नहीं करता. Then if someone asks me to make 25,000, then it is a problem, because I want to make only film on all the Babas, you know. So then it is a problem, you know? So
Yes,
so then that is a balance that you have to figure out, you know. That's the balance.
Yes, sir.
The subjects that you want to make, are you going to get money for that, you know? So that is, I've known, for example, I've known my super seniors who have made films for Samajwadi Party in election time, and they're Kattar BJP, you know. I said, how are you doing this? Arey yaar, money to chahiye na. You know, so it is not a problem for them. You know, it's not, because unka craft. But that also you can do. Why? Why? You have known the craft in 3 years. You know, in 3
Yes.
years you have figured out your craft. That kind of a thing. So it's entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. But these are the paths that are available. That much I can tell you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I will actually go for the documentary. I will actually films division में भी रहेगी ना sir वो.
Co-film nahi hai. It is not made by Films Division. It was made by Tata Institute of Fundamental Science.
Okay.
But there
Ji,
are
sir.
other films.
Okay,
that,
sir.
There are other films that I have made for Films Division. That would be there. Those would be there.
Okay, sir. Sir, I visited the film division अभी थोड़े समय पहले. वो
हाँ.
पूरा म्यूजियम सत्यजीत रे म्यूजियम बनाया है. It's wonderful, sir.
अच्छा, वो जो म्यूजियम जो है उधर, है ना, विजिट यू आपने विजिट
जी
किया?
सर, जी सर, बहुत अच्छा कर दिया सर.
बढ़िया
जी
बढ़िया
सर.
बढ़िया, अच्छा है वो, है ना. आप if you go there,
हाँ सर, बहुत बढ़िया है.
there are certain computers there. You can all those films that are there that have been made over the years, for so many 50-60 years, they would all be accessible, you know. in those computers.
Yes, sir.
In that internet kind of a thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Sir,
up, yeah,
so can I get my short films reviewed by you if you may?
या आपने भेजो मतलब आप है ना तो
Yes,
immediately
sir.
मतलब 1-2 दिन में मैं देख के मैं बता
Sure,
दूंगा
sir, sure, sir.
whenever
So
I
on
have the
what
time.
platform I may share them?
You have my email ID, right?
No, sir. Could you please mention it?
SONK
SOMK
N for Nagpur.
SONK
So
SONK
films FILMS
FILMS.
@gmail.com.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure. Thank you,
So
sir.
your
सर आप
mates
चैट
are,
में भी प्लीज सर आप प्लीज चैट में भी डाल दीजिएगा चैट में भी
आया?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
जी सर सर
Yes,
एक्चुअली
sir.
आई एम आल्सो वर्किंग ऑन माय शॉर्ट एंड राइटिंग पार्ट पूरा हो गया है तो उसका एग्जीक्यूशन पार्ट रह गया है तो मैं भी उस पे काम कर रहा हूँ सर एक शॉर्ट पे
बढ़िया.
Sir, actually, I have been doing correspondence through my graduation, and I have been producing for the past 3 years. Even more so, I actually been to code and for engineering, and I couldn't just find myself in there. So while returning, I made a short film. I had been doing YouTube for a while before that, and when in 11th, when I was returning, I made a documentary slash short film about my experience there. And since then I have been making continuously short films. I've made many, so it is a bit unrewarding, as I said, because you don't get a lot of social merit for this, and that creates a lot of mental turmoil. But at the same time, I'm very happy about the progress that I've made, and I like to get it reviewed as much as I could.
Yeah, sir, some of
वही
them.
वही मोटिवेशन है आदित्य यू आर डूइंग वंडरफुल वो करते रहो यार बढ़िया है वो रन रिकॉर्डिंग वगैरह तो कुछ नहीं है पर्सनल आपको अच्छा लग रहा है तो दैट इज गोइंग टू मोटिवेट यू आगे भी बहुत ज्यादा मेरे ख्याल से सर भी यही बोलेंगे
It
Yeah,
is
the key is to find money for those things that you are interested in.
exactly, yes, sir. That is the point. Also, the social credit that I talked about, it is becoming increasingly important more and more to get that social credit, so that I could get rid of the brain fog that is there around it. So yeah, money and that is something that I primarily want to figure it out as soon as possible, so that I could get into this more. Because making short films is very hard unless and until you cannot fund the short films. You can find a sect of a cult of very interested people, and they have their own lives after all.
Yeah, I tell you what. If, for example, you want to make a film on schizophrenia, na?
Okay.
You're interested in someone, you're seeing someone, your neighbor, you have seen your neighbor suffering or whatever. You want to
Yes,
that's a call, for example.
Okay.
So the key would be you want to make a short fiction film on that. The key
Yes,
would be to look at people who are working in that field of schizophrenia. If you want to make a film on HIV/AIDS, you have to make a film on cancer. For example, just giving an example. You have
Okay,
to
yes.
look at people who are already interested in that field, already working in that field, and maybe they would be interested. They would also be interested because it serves their purpose.
Okay, yes, sir.
The key is it serves your purpose and it serves their purpose, and then only there is going to be a match. And why would anyone want to give 4 lakhs to 4 crores to, for example, anyone to make a film? Because
Yes,
he or
sir.
she thinks that 4 lakhs could be 8 lakhs. That is the interest. So what is his interest? If that 4 lakhs become at least 6 lakhs, I'm going to make my next film. That kind of a thing. So the
Yes,
key
sir.
is for the interest to be matched. In terms of
Yes, sir.
subject and
Meeting
stuff like
people's
that.
interest. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I was, in fact, this Homi Baba, I was very interested in Homi Baba science. I was like, how is this man? He's almost shaped up modern in terms of modern Indian science, big
Yes, sir.
ticket science industry.
Yes,
तो उसके बारे में मेरे को interest था, not that I'm a scientist, and therefore the match. Yeah, so therefore the interest matched. Yes. So you have to figure that out for yourself. So
Yes,
आपको
sir.
क्या interest है and finding like-minded people who are interested in the
Yes,
subject.
yes, sir. Exactly. Yes, sir. That is also one of those reasons that I am probably looking into FTI, because I really want like-minded people around me.
True,
which
very
is
true, very fine, very fine, very.
yes, sir.
So ठीक है, बंद
Sir,
कर लेते
how do
हैं.
you see YouTube as a medium? How do you see YouTube as a medium for people like me and Aditya जो अपनी short मैं बनाना चाहता हूँ, आदित्य ने बना ली. So YouTube can be something for that, a nice platform for releasing those films. और there has to be मतलब, या आपको लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं YouTube उतना बड़ा platform नहीं हो पाया है अभी भी?
नहीं, YouTube is one of the very useful tools that we have. YouTube एक तो वो अपना वो जो भी है
Okay, sir.
अपना डाल सकता है अपना चैनल में and stuff like that. I'll tell you what.
YouTube
Right, sir.
is the biggest
Have you,
platform.
yeah, have you, you know about this guy called Rishabh Shetty?
Yes, sir.
ऋषभ शेट्टी कांतारा जो बनाया ऋषभ शेट्टी ने.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was at some point of time before Kantara, some years before Kantara, I was in talk with him to make it so that they have a group,
Yes, sir.
you know, of IT people and stuff like that. And I was supposed to make a film for them and stuff like that. वो बात बनी नहीं हो, then he
Yes,
got
sir.
busy in Kantara, वो अलग बात है. But then I met him a
Okay.
couple of times, and then he said, you know what he said? He made a film called a Kannada film he made, and he says he is not into publicity, he's not into posters, he's not into anything of that sort. He's using the net media, internet media, and he said there is a song that he made for a particular film. Before that film is released, he released that particular song in the YouTube, and he's got returned 40 lakhs from that particular song, one particular song.
Oh
40
my
lakhs,
goodness.
40 lakhs, है ना? तो उसका आधा कॉस्ट तो कवर ही हो गया. if you're
Right, sir.
आधा कॉस्ट उधर ही कवर हो गया. if you're 60 lakhs में बनाया आपने या 8 crore में बनाया, 40 lakhs उधर ही कम है, then
जी, sir.
रिलीज हो गया ना. So it is that important. And of course he played his cards well because उसका ग्रुप में सब IT वाले हैं. They know how to manipulate and stuff like that. वो अलग बात है ना. But you have to know the play. So it's a very, very, very important. YouTube is a very, but provided you know the algorithms and Facebook, for example, Facebook advertisement is very important, you know. So you know algorithms
Right, sir.
क्या check कर रहे हैं, है ना. So it's very, very crucial. Yeah, in these
Okay,
days.
sir.
Yeah. चलो बंद कर देते हैं. We'll finish it off.
जी sir. Thank you so much for
Thank
all
you,
the
sir.
insightful discussion, sir. It was wonderful.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
And
sir.
thank you, Aditya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Naman. Thank you,
Both of
Naman.
you. Your questions were very
Thank you.
provoking.
Yeah.
Very provoking.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye.